And we are live, it looks like. Yeah, I haven't heard from John. Excuse me, I haven't heard from John or anything. He usually sends me an email or something, and I haven't heard anything. I don't, someone said something about him maybe starting later or whatever, and I haven't heard anything. I don't know how to get a hold of any of them. The only thing I have is John's email. I don't have, I don't know anyone well enough, to have phone numbers or anything like that. Uh, I don't have hardly anybody's phone number actually. So I've been watching. I set this up and I've been watching on my phone to see if he posted, starting at 5:30 or 6 o'clock or anything. I haven't found anything. I even, searched and went to his page. I don't see anything, so I have no idea. And if he put something up or whatever, somebody tell me and we'll jump over there. I just wanted to make sure somebody had a live at 5 o'clock on Friday morning. Hey, good morning, Nate. How are you, buddy? I don't even know how to. I forget. I done something on my uh, phone the last time to post a link, so I gotta look around and see if I can figure out how I did that. It's really early on a Friday. We'll get this all figured out sometime, I suppose. I'm looking to see if he's got a, starting that thing. I haven't found anything. If you guys find anything, let me know, okay? I know last week he said he wasn't going to go live because of the holiday, I think, or something like that, and so I went live anyway. I don't even see mine on here. Let's see. Oh wait. Oh, it's early. What am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for me. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know what I'm doing yet. It's way too early for this. Huh. Oh well. Plug phone in, not worried. How is everybody today? You know, it got kind of warm yesterday, and I didn't know. I went over. I got a bunch of tools. I still got to move, and I went over to. Me and Dad went over to the garage at the old house yesterday, and started boxing up tools. And I don't know where I acquired all this crap at. I honestly have no idea. I got a Snap-on toolbox that's got like 5 drawers, I think it is, a little side drawer, and then you open the lid, and it's got stuff in there I don't even remember buying. I suppose I was, fixing a car or something at one time and needed a special tool or something, so I just went and bought it. And today's show is brought to you by Lit. Uh, J Dog and someone else said, try this. You get it at the dollar store. This one is called Beyond Dew. So I'm assuming it was Mountain Dew or something, but it's all right. Uh, it's cheaper than Red Bull, but if they were both the same price in the same can, I'm buying Red Bull because I like Red Bull. But this is all right. I have another can. Uh, so I bought two of them. Dana may have kicked him out. Oh, I almost got a stuffy nose today. I get like that in the wintertime, from the heat. It moves dust around or whatever. And I tried to dust, but I can't keep up. I need to hire me someone to come in and clean once a week or something, I suppose. But oh yeah, me and Dad went and loaded tools up, and I could tell he was getting tired. Pulled a chair. Hey, Pop, sit down in that chair for a while. And I'm all right. You know how dads are. They don't listen to nobody. So I get something to go out to put in my car because there's a few things I wanted to bring home. The other stuff's going out to my storage place, and I heard thump. Sure enough, he would, instead of sitting down, he was walking around the garage and tripped over a hammer. And fortunately, he didn't get hurt, and he got up pretty good. He was feeling pretty good yesterday and wasn't in a whole lot of pain. But I figured by then it was time to go to the house. I was tired. But if the wind hadn't been blowing, I'd have probably went fishing yesterday evening. But I'd say the wind was blowing, what, I don't know, 15 mile an hour maybe, between 5 and 15, and gust and stuff. So there wasn't no going to the reservoir yesterday because there's nowhere to get out of the wind at that reservoir I fish at. So, wait, there's 11 people watching and 2 people talking. Interesting. I'll figure out how to put the link up here in a minute. And I got up at 4:30, I think it was, and I had to set that thing there up to say I'm going live whenever or whatever it is, and then I had to let the dogs out, go to the bathroom, and then get that can of lit, see what it was about. Did it post like a title or anything today? I don't guess it did it? Huh. Let's see. What happened there, I wonder. I thought I had, like, where it says, I don't know. Never mind. I just reposted like this, I reckon. Well, anybody got anything going on this weekend? There is last weekend of college football, I think. I like college football. I don't watch the NFL. I'm a veteran, and when they knelt for the flag, that was it for me. I'm sorry. Too many young Americans died defending what that flag stands for, and I don't care how PC correct you're going to get or whatever in life. There's just some things that are not acceptable, and kneeling during the national anthem is one of them. I don't care who agrees, who doesn't agree. That I honestly don't give a shit, or I don't give a care. I'm sorry, but it's a sore spot with me. I'll never ever watch the NFL again. I don't even watch Super Bowl, and I don't even care if Peyton Manning came out of retirement and was leading the Colts to a Super Bowl. I would still not watch. But college football, I love college football. My favorite time of year, uh, when college game day starts. I get up on Saturday at 8, get my stuff together, and then I 10 TV. Hey, good morning. How are you? I from 9 to noon. I watch college game day on Saturday. I don't answer the phone. I don't do nothing. I don't answer the phone half the time anyway. 10 TV, buddy. I'm not sure I've ever met you before. It's good to have you. It's nice to have you stop in and say, hey, I'll get your channel and give it a follow here. I can't figure out. Last week I pulled it up on my phone and I could do stuff on it that affected this on my laptop, but I can't remember how I done that, to be honest with you. So let's see if I can figure it out while we're out here messing around. That first hour from 5 to 6 is usually Gigster. What's up, man? One of my favorite people. I want to go fishing one time with you when I get a chance. What am I looking for? Let's see. I'm trying to find this here because I think I can post the link with this if I go to the channel. Okay, I can look at myself. That's bizarre. Turn the audio down. Let's see. I don't remember now. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Well, maybe next time I'll figure it out. Or do I go to the invite on here, put the link, and then go to the live on YouTube and click pin? Yes, that's how I did it. Hold on. And if you come up, please don't be loud and boisterous because it's way too darn early for that. We're being nice and quiet until 7. 6:30, I guess. So you copy that. Okay. Put that right here. Bam. Hit that right there. There we go. Okay, now there's that. And I can go down here. I can tap on that. That's not what I want to do. There we go. That should have done it. Bada bing. Look at me learning how to play internet, man. There we go. Now I just got to remember to keep an eye out on that thing there. Last week we were graced with who all did come up last week? I forget now. Oh man, it sucks getting old, doesn't it? Well, good morning, Mom and son. How are you guys? It's really good to see you this morning. How's your son today? Is he doing okay? Sometime you'll have to pop up on live and introduce yourself. You can do it on mine. I don't really mind about that stuff. I don't mind about anything, to be honest with you. Hey, Chris, how are you, man? Telly, good morning. I was bragging on your smoked meatloaf to someone last week. Brandon, good morning, good morning. And they were going to go, and I told them to go to your site, and that's where they could find out how to make it. I can't remember who it was now, but I'd mentioned smoked meatloaf, and they were like, "Oh, you're kidding me! That sounds awesome!" And I was like, "Yeah, it does, doesn't it?" I don't even like meatloaf, and I liked it. Where I talked them out of meatloaf yesterday, mom was going to make meatloaf, and I told her I didn't really think I was capable of doing that because you got to mix like eggs and stuff in the hamburger, and that just grossed me out. I can't do it. So I'm definitely not putting my hands down in there. Not without some rubber gloves or something. Call me a sissy all you want. Getting ready to move. Oh, getting ready to have MOHS surgery so I can stay in. But wanted to show our appreciation for it. Oh, you're having surgery today, ma'am? Well, I will definitely say a prayer for you, and we'll make sure that everything goes well. I'm not sure what MOHS stands for, but I'll Google that so I can figure that part out. Hey, Gig, you going out today? Oh, wait. How late did you get? You gigged last night, didn't you? How late were you out? 'Cause I went to bed early last night. I was tired. I usually stay up till I don't know midnight or 1, but I don't know, maybe going and loading tools and then Dad falling in the garage and stuff. Maybe stress will make you tired, and maybe I just got tired. I don't know. And I wish I could turn my PC on and have it on my big screen so I could see it better. But there's some kind of fan on the inside that makes it that's noisy, and it's an old PC, HP Pavilion or something. I bought it the day Windows 8 come out the first time because it still had Windows 7 on it, and I didn't have to try to learn to do something different because the time appraising was real busy then, and I didn't want to have to, try to figure out a whole new operating system while trying to work. You're gigging tonight? What time, man, dude? I gotta set an alarm. So you don't go live, do you? Because if you go live, I'm gonna set an alarm because I want to watch. Let's see, 2:30 p.m. What did I set one at 2:30 p.m. for? I have no idea, so we'll cancel that one. Oh, it was to remind me to buy one of them. Buy this show is brought to you by Lit today, courtesy of J Dog. Told me to try this instead of Red Bull. I'm undecided. Okay. Oh, Mom, if you're having surgery today, then you haven't had anything to eat or drink since midnight, have you? That's the worst part about having surgery is, because, God, who likes to wake up and not at least have a cup of coffee or something? And I hate when you have a medical procedure that, well, you couldn't have anything to eat after midnight. And then, okay. I guess it's so you don't have anything in your stomach or whatever when they put you under. I don't know. I don't know what, having something in your stomach. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. I can't believe I thought I had posted a title for this, but I don't guess it showed up or something. It was the Bible verse from Psalms 62, 5 and 6. And I'll read it since it didn't show up. It says, "Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from him. Truly, he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken." I like that. Oh, I'm way behind now. How's that happen? There we go. Oh, okay. It's Good Morning Sunshine. Well, what's that other spot where it has you put something in? Black Rifle Coffee. Oh, that's cool. That's owned by some vets, isn't it? They used to sponsor Mug Club, Steve Crowder's show, which since they got off the blaze, I don't know if I'm in. Well, hi, D. Good morning to you. Go in there and kiss that wonderful husband of yours on the cheek and tell him I said good morning. Description, yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I thought I put it in that. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I'm trying to figure. Oh, Dad's nurse comes today. That's what it is. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do today, and I missed her Monday when she came, because I was seeing the house in Newcastle. And what's this December? It'll be slow this month. There won't be many appraisals with Christmas and stuff. People just don't. They're not refinancing or buying a house in December usually. So it used to be one of my favorite chill months. When I lived in Noblesville, because me and my son, when we first lived together in Noblesville, he was in freshman, I think, or something in high school. It was just me and him. We'd go surfing in Florida for 2 weeks because there just wouldn't be no work in December. Which I'd go surfing now, but I'd have a heart attack. There's no doubt. I'm so fat and out of shape right now. I was talking to, I don't know who it was, about that new diet stuff. Not even diet's not the right word. Is that drug or whatever these people you inject in your stomach or whatever? And like 4 or 5 people I talked to and said it works real well. And oh well, he can have anticipation all day of that great kiss on the cheek from me coming through you. We're gonna channel me through you. Oh, really? December and January is selling months, so they don't pay taxes. Yeah, Nate, exactly. Yeah, December's not the time to move, man. I agree. No way. And again, is there ever a good time to move? I did this year, and I think I've moved 3 times in my life. And next time I move, hopefully it'll be into a motor home and a boat on the back, and I'll just never have to move in a house again. Because when mom and dad are gone, my son said, he bought this new house. It's not a new house, but new to them in Cicero, close to the lake. And I kind of laughed. I chuckled. He said, I bought one, and we bought an extra bedroom so you can come and live with us when grandma and grandpa are gone. And I'm like, okay, that'll work. And I think what was he said, and I won't even charge you too much in rent. And I told him, if I'm paying rent, I'm going to have a place I can come home to myself that's quiet. I don't know about this J Dog. It's kind of sweet, but it's the first drink I've had that it says zero sugar, but it doesn't have that like diet Pepsi yucky taste. I can't drink diet soda. That aftertaste, I've tried 3 or 4 times. I can never get used to it. Gig, actually, let's see, we always went on the Atlantic side and stayed in Cocoa Beach down on 14th Street. And the first year we went, we had awesome waves. I mean, they were like chest head high for 3 or 4 days solid. And because we learned to surf up on Lake Michigan, and the water is always really, really cold. Me and my son are down there in board shorts, and people are wearing wetsuits. And we just kind of chuckling. And 2 out of the 4 years we had real good waves, and then the other 2 years we had little waves, but because we ride a longboard, it was surfable. And the only reason we went in December is because he was out of school for 2 weeks, for Christmas. And that's the only reason. That's the only time we really got to go. And that's when my work's always slow. Historically, from the week before Thanksgiving through February, here, because it's winter time. Are you in the city of Wabash, Nate? We used to have a boat up on the Salamone, 1965 Chris Craft cabin cruiser. Gig, that's sweating temperature water from where I'm from. Actually, up on Lake Michigan, they surf in the wintertime with a good wetsuit, boots, and a hood. And I've walked through the snow to go surfing, actually. And wetsuit technology is so good now. I mean, you get hot out there and have to peel the hood down because it gets so hot inside the suit. But anyway, we had a cabin cruiser up on Salamone, and the guy that owned the marina lived in Wabash. And I would stay on the cabin cruiser my junior and senior year, the summers of those. I lived on the cabin cruiser in the summer and worked at the marina. Okay, 30 minutes north of Lafayette. So I'd say that puts me 2 hours from you if I'm driving. Because whatever Google Maps says, if I'm going somewhere, for every hour it says to get there, add 15 minutes because I drive slow and I don't get in a hurry. And usually I try not to take the interstates if I can because I've never had a traffic jam on a 2-lane highway. And it seems like every time I travel, if I'm going to Florida or something, yeah, you're going to take the interstate. But, anything Indiana and Michigan or whatever, I'm going to take highways. You know what? I think I appraised a house in Wolcott. Hold on, let me map that. I'm almost positive I did. That's up there in Flat. big farmland country, isn't it? I think when I was an apprentice, I had to go up there and do an appraisal because I was the low man on the totem pole. Wolcott, Indiana. Oh, okay. We're north of Rome City. Oh, you're way up there past Kendallville. Heck, you're almost up to state line almost, aren't you? Oh, I lost myself. Up there, Shipshewana, Goshen, Warsaw, Auburn. See, I always took 31 going to Michigan from, well, now, when they redone everything, you can go from 465 in Indianapolis and take Highway 31 from Indianapolis to South Bend and not have to stop. It's like an interstate now. Well, there's a couple areas up there. I forget the name. Some Goshen, not Goshen, Argos, a little bitty town there. There's a stoplight there, and one in Plymouth, I think. But that it, and because they built a bypass around Kokomo now. Windmill country, yeah, Nate, you're not lying, dude. It's like you couldn't fly through there if you was on a small airplane because you'd get hurt. Never say never. This is true. Are you working avid? I know you put a lot of hours in. I know that. I done two appraisals this week. One was a big house out in the country, nice like 5 acre, nice lot out in the middle of. Hey, guy planted 200 and some trees on his property, and a big house, in ground pool and everything. It come in at like 535K or something. And then I had this house in Newcastle, 768 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, average lot for in town or whatever, and they want $115,000 for this house. And dude, I'm telling you, man, this place was not remodeled or anything. So I couldn't see that much. I was in my research, so I emailed the realtor, and he, told him, "Hey, man, dude, can you help me out on how you came up with your price or whatever?" And he emailed me back a bunch of comps that were. I mean, there are houses there that size that sell for that much, but they've been completely gutted and remodeled. You know what I mean? And this place is in the I'm an investor, I'm going to buy it and do that and sell it condition. And so it didn't come in near what the selling price was. I figured somebody'd be calling me and yelling at me by now, but I ain't heard nothing from nobody. So we got 12 people. Oh, we got some serious creepers in here, man, because there's a couple people talked in chat and there's 12 people. So you guys that are back there creeping, say hey so we know you're there at least. Yes, scumbags. What is it? Home Alone is not scumbags, is it? What is he plays the movie quote when the bad guys are at the back door or something? Actually, it's that time of year. I like that one, and everybody says Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie. I never really felt that for it, but Home Alone, and then the classics. And someone was telling me, I guess they don't have like the old. Remember the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty and them, the little. I guess those aren't on no more. Someone said they weren't on, regular TV anymore. I can remember being a little kid, man. I loved that time of year when those would be on. Cause we didn't have TV until I was born in '64. I think it was either '69 or '70. We never had a TV before then, and I think Mom and them won it in a contest or something. I can still remember the first cartoon I ever seen on TV was Mighty Mouse. I think I think that TV was black and white back then too. Mighty Mouse, and then my favorite one was Fearless Fly. Lived in a little matchbox, had the glasses. Only people who are old are going to know what I'm talking about on those, right? You know what? It's nicotine time. I do apologize, but hi, my name's Brian. I'm a nicotine addict. It's nice to meet you. And I guess it's rude to smoke on, it's what, 5:30 in the morning or something. There shouldn't be any kids watching anything that I ever do. There were three channels. Yep, ABC, NBC, and CBS, man, no doubt. Yeah. And I just remember and I don't remember a lot from when I was that little. And I can just remember them bringing that TV home in the afternoon time and plugging it in and back. I think we had rabbit ears, didn't have an antenna set up yet. And when they set it up and run the rabbit ears up or whatever and tuned it in, the first thing that was on it was the Mighty Mouse cartoon. And as a 4-year-old kid, I was like, what on earth is this? Oh, yes, Gig, I know what you're talking about. And like their mouths moved and they were, what did they call that? I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, that was cool. I remember that one. And then as time went on, we still only had three channels, but Saturdays, man, you had cartoons on from like 7 till noon. Remember that? And Johnny Quest, I liked Johnny Quest a lot. Nowadays, there's so many channels, it's hard telling what's on there. Flipper and Gentle Ben, yeah. I'm with you, Gig. We were in the same genre of shows. And then, still the all-time greatest television show ever made, the Andy Griffith Show. Before it went to color, it jumped the shark when it went to color, and I quit watching it because Don Knotts got famous and went off to do the movie career thing with what was the one, the chicken and something, that was a good one. And remember Little Rascals? Be on right after school. I was in later elementary then, but there were no reruns from because that was on when my dad was a kid, I guess. And then in the 70s, as a teenager, they always had the really serious after school special, don't smoke pot because you'll jump off the top of the building shows. And I'm not supposed to have any downtime, right? There's not supposed to be any quiet. Bandit, yep. Mom and them watch, it's not me TV part of the morning, but there's some inspiration channel or something that has old westerns on Gunsmoke, Bonanza, all of them. And 24 hours a day, old western shows. I just like autocorrect, yep. And so they have it on that channel every single day. And it's like on 30. Which is the only time I could ever do this is right now when everyone's asleep, because otherwise the TV would be in the background really loud. Haji, that was his buddy's name with the turban, Haji. And then what in the early mid 70s they got into things like Puffin stuff and what was the one, Bay City Rollers and other stuff like that. More in, they had some shows instead of cartoons. But I don't know if anyone remembers when how they would have like the new season getting ready to start, and Friday night before the new season start, the Brady Bunch would do a preview show of the cartoons that were going to be on that month or that next day. Yeah, life was cool back then, man. It wasn't real complicated. And because there wasn't that many channels, you didn't stay in the house all day watching television. Or sit in front of uh, a computer screen all day. I think after college football's over, I'm going to try to go 2 weekends a month, like off grid as far as social media and stuff goes. Maybe in January or something. I don't know. And see, because, you ever look at the stats like on your phone of how many hours a week you spend on it? It's no wonder I can't get anything done. Remember Mickey Mouse Avid, the old black and white ones? And then you had the classic Popeye, which they wouldn't let you have that today because it's too violent. Hey, good morning, hunting and stuff, JJ. Or think about some of the movies, especially the Mel Brooks stuff, man. They couldn't make those movies today. Uh, Blazing Saddles, Frankenstein, classics. They couldn't even make them now, especially Blazing Saddles. I don't even think they're allowed to play that on TV anymore. And this getting up at 4:30 in the morning is all right, man. It's quiet in here. Dogs go out one time and then they go back to bed. I'm almost done firing up my nicotine fit, and I'll come back on the live. I gotta go get me the other lit energy drink that I got. It's called Gummy Worms. Avid, I haven't seen the cartoon in I don't know how long. I think when my kids were little, yeah, they had cartoon. They had like He Man, and I can't remember all of them, Smurfs and stuff like that. But then what was it? Disney Channel came out and had all the TV shows that the kids watched. Saved by the Bell? I think it was, and Hannah Montana, and that stuff was always on in the house. But then again, we didn't have the internet, so I was always out in the garage doing something, working on a dirt bike or fixing something. Okay, let me run and get my next energy drink, and we'll pop back up there. Oh, there we go. Now, the next hour is brought to you by Lit, courtesy of J Dog. And this one is Gummy Worm. We'll see what we come up with here. If I make a funny face, you know why. It's not bad. I was afraid it'd be real sweet like Monster or something, but it's not bad at all. It's got kind of a tangy taste to it. They talked like it was going to be real strong, stronger than Red Bud. Or Red Bud, that's a motocross track. Or kind of weed they may had back in the 70s, Red Bud. Yeah, that's good stuff. Fluff, that's who came up the last time I done this one. I think I seen her last night in someone's live. They had a Chad and them had a classic last night. J Dog come up and challenged Chad to a 1v1, which is funny because they were actually fishing together the other day in Chad's boat, so I kind of chuckled at that. So anyone who didn't know the inside thing doesn't know that they were actually in the same boat the other day. But poor Chad, he gets dogged a lot. He does a good job on his shows. I'm a fan. So what's anybody got any like major good plans this weekend? It's the first weekend in December. What is it? The first Saturday of every month, the Goodwill store has half price on stuff. For those of you who seek bargains, I don't even go shopping anymore. I get everything through Amazon. People are too rude. I don't like to go. The only thing I can go to Walmart and buy fruit and groceries, and I hate going to Walmart. But they ran everybody else out of business, grocery store wise, so you don't have much of a choice. There's north of me, there's a little town called Harvard City, and they have a little grocery store. He had a title. But I'll be honest with you, I never see that kind of stuff. What was the title? I have no idea. I suppose I could look on my phone because I swear I'd done something last time when I was live. I was doing something on my phone, but I can't remember what it was now. Let's see. Go to history. Fishing on Your Mom. No, that was an old one I watched this morning with Steve Mosley. I'm getting there. Probably been easier just to go to his channel, wouldn't it? I'm getting there. I'm trying to find out what it was. Anybody see Elon Musk the other day tells advertisers to F off? I dig him. He's got FU money for sure, man. There's Snagging Night Live. I'm almost there. The one true king. I thought the whatever it is, what do you call that? The picture that they have for the beginning. I forget what you call that, but I thought it was cool. It's my favorite one yet. With the castle and the big moat, and him in his purple robe, or is it called a robe when a king wears it? I don't remember. Yeah, the one true king. God bless him. You gotta love the guy. He's got a great sense of humor. Yeah, I remember. I see now. There we go. I really guess I have to use that, do I? Oh, there's only one true king. I thought it said just on earth the one true king. I think he was referencing the Tennessee River and not the king of the universe. Is the invite thing pinned to the top? I can't see it here. Hold on. Let's scroll all the way up and see. Anybody's welcome to come up here and take over and I don't see. Did I pin the thing? Somebody let me know. I don't know how to tell. And it is officially 6:01 a.m. Hey, good morning, Uncle Lou. How are you today, buddy? I'm rocking your hat today because it was the first one on the top of the stack when I walked by at 4:30. Because I'm a hat guy, man. I've wore a baseball cap since I was a kid. And the simple fact with the baseball cap is you don't have to comb your hair, which I don't have much hair right now anyway because I cut it short. But see, there's Avid. Does that work? I can't see anything but a black screen, it looks like. Oh, there you go. Now a little bit.
I'm in a security car. That's why I have all the lights turned on.
Ah, okay. I see you're incognito. Good
Yep.
morning, Jody Catfishing. How are you?
Hey, Jody.
It's so good to see you
Uncle
this
Lou.
morning. Uncle Lou's up early.
Uncle,
So,
I don't think Uncle Lou ever sleeps.
there's my alarm on the other phone. I don't know what that alarm was set for.
I don't think Jody ever sleeps unless he's on live and falls asleep and wakes up saying, "Fish on, fish on."
Well, there was one time she needed to get some sleep. What, 2 years ago or so? Man, I was worried about her, especially if she had put
Yeah.
her boat in, and Sasquatch, or she'd be getting ready to load her boat up or something and drive home in the mornings. I'd be like, "You gotta be careful, man, because you are tired."
Yeah, Jody Sasquatch does stay in the shadows.
Hi, I'm Sasquatch, and I seen you too.
Uh-huh. Sasquatch is like Jesus. We see everything.
Hey, Uncle Lou, you can let J Dog know that I did go track down the lit, whatever, and
I
it's
would
all
not
right.
try that stuff.
It's not it's not Red Bull, but it's you get a bigger can for less money. That's about the only positive I got to say about it.
I've seen that stuff in Dollar Tree and I walked away from it.
I had to buy it. It was a private thing,
Oh,
and
I
and the
understand.
bad part was it wasn't in the where the energy drinks are, so I had to ask the people, "Hey, you guys got this stuff called lit?" And then it dawned on me, they better not have been, playing a trick on me and I'm asking for something that doesn't exist.
And
And
that's what I
fortunately, the lady
figured.
was like, yeah, and it was over there with like the
The sodas.
insure, insure the drink. It was
Uh-huh.
over there with that.
The old age drinks.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
old
Well, I was
fellas
buying
drink.
my dad insure by the case. Sleep very little, time for that later on. I used to have that philosophy, Uncle Lou. And now I'm of the philosophy that I love naps. Ain't a darn thing wrong with a nap. And if you can get one, you are blessed.
With
Anymore,
my
every time I
with
try to
my
take
work
one,
schedule,
I get
anytime I
woke
can
up.
get a nap, I take it.
Yeah, Lou,
Bug
it's
man.
it's good stuff. Say what?
Anytime I get to take a nap, I take it.
Oh yeah, me too, dude. I'm with you. I have to
My
laugh
work,
though because Pop's in like the early stages of dementia, and I'll be asleep and he'll come in, and it doesn't matter if it's nighttime, 3 in the morning or whatever. If he's awake, he will come in and wake me up to ask me a question. And I just chuckle like you got to be. And usually there's something really, really something that you could ask me tomorrow. But I chuckle because he's not going to be waking me up and asking me questions someday, so I don't get mad or nothing. You're going to bed now. Have you been up? Oh, it's Thursday, what? So you would have been fishing last night, right, Jody?
yep.
I'm going to bed now, but I'm not sleepy. Well, I don't know if to go to bed now. I suppose what is it, 6? You could sleep till 8, get a couple hours sleep, and be good to go. I know in the Army they're only required to give you 4 hours every 24, so Evidently, you're capable of living and functioning on 4 hours. Hey, John. Good morning,
Mhm.
buddy.
I tried functioning in 4 hours. That don't work.
It wasn't bad when I was young. It don't work now. Hey, John. How
Jody
are you,
sleeps on
buddy?
the boat all the time.
We got a heat wave today. It's 49 whopping degrees, buddy. You kidding me? I'm wearing shorts. I probably wear shorts all day. It's so warm. Only because my jeans shrank over the summertime and I got them out of the closet and somebody shrank them. They don't fit no more. I gotta go buy some.
The high day is going to be 60.
Really?
Yep.
Well, if I got into that, I'd be in like Flynn. Yeah, 60s fishing. I don't even care if the wind's blowing.
Hey, small water.
I had so much wind yesterday, man. After me and Dad got done doing tools, the little thermometer thing in my car or my SUV kept saying 59 degrees, and I'm like, it don't feel like no 59 out here with that wind blowing.
Yeah, I almost wanted to go trout fishing this morning.
I've never done that.
Yeah, trout fishing is fun. But I just don't want to be sitting out in this rain.
Cheech is on live bluegills, but didn't catch any. I told him to quit going there. He ain't caught none last 3 times. I've never fished with the bluegill live. I always cut them up. I just think that something about that blood scent flowing through the water is a good thing. I suppose you could be masochistic and take the bluegill, leave him alive, and slice him up a little bit and get blood flowing, but I just can't be
I
that
tell you
cruel.
what, I put a bluegill out there for flatheads alive without cutting them for about
Oh
maybe
yeah,
an hour, and after that, I cut off the tail right at the skin part
yeah,
and
yeah.
put him back out there. And normally, I don't. The first hour, I normally catch a fish on it, but after that, when I cut off the tail, I get better reaction.
Yeah. Good
Hey,
morning, JG
JG.
Hill. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Terry.
Terry B. Good morning. Dorsal hook.
Yeah, I dorsal
Live
hooked the
bluegill
bluegills
when you
and
use for
the
bait.
bullheads.
By dorsal hook, what do you mean, Terry? Dorsal up at the top of the body, you mean?
Yeah, right up just below
Okay,
the
yep.
dorsal fin.
Yep. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
And if you ever use a bullhead, you go behind the dorsal fin about maybe a 1/4 inch and you hook it there on the bullhead.
I've never fished with live fish before besides minnows. I'm going to try it because I got an unlimited supply of bluegill. So
No, I got an unlimited supply of bluegill and unlimited supply of bullheads.
I don't know. I don't have any bullheads. I did catch one on Hog Legs Live a couple years ago, bullhead, and it was probably a little over 1.5 feet long.
I've used a 1.5 foot long one before and caught a 47-pound flathead.
Huh. Yeah, they ain't got nothing that big around here, though. I mean, I'm dealing with channel cats only. The river that
Oh,
runs through here, you
no.
could walk across in any given spot. I mean, I don't have any rivers or nothing that you can fish catfish
Cut
for.
bait works good for cut baits work good for channel cats. I don't know if you're allowed to use shad up there where you're at or not.
In fact, still miss the fish on live bait no matter how I hook them. The key on that. Little crappie are better than bluegill too. The fins are not as stiff. Huh? Yeah, that would make sense. But I mean, to be honest with you, I don't have flatheads in the place I get the fish. That I can only go so far
Well, in
away from
some
home.
states you can't use crappie, and I'd rather eat the crappie instead of using it for bait.
I don't know if you can use crappie here or not. I have to look. I know I was catching them. I don't know. They about that long white bass at the reservoir, and yeah, I live in a catfish desert gig. You're not lying, man. And So someone said them little white bass were good cut bait. So I didn't want to get a ticket or nothing. So I actually called the DNR instead of, you know, looking, send an email or whatever. So I got actual verbal confirmation you could use them. And they said, yeah,
What
you
they
can use
say?
them.
What they say?
They said, yeah, I could use them. I could use the white bass, but not stripers. And I'm
White
like,
bass is
well,
good eating.
I was, I was, they got a really, really sharp gill plate.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I learned that one the hard way.
Wait till you get stung, poked by the dorsal fins.
Hold on, I gotta let my puppy out. I think he's just mom got up. And I think he wants to go out. Where'd you go, little guy? You want to go out, huh? Don't tell me you did what I think you did, you little fucker. Did you do that? Did you do that? No. Are you kidding me, little guy? I'll tell you what, you're getting ready to earn yourself a trip out in the yard on the
Good morning.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta get the cable thing. It's raining out, and I didn't notice he isn't gonna go out until I get it. I'll be right back.
All right. Chilly weather and cold fronts. Move, cold fronts moving in normally helps the fishing. It's the end of the cold fronts that you don't catch many fish. That I've learned. About time. Rusty. So how's everybody doing this morning? Anybody gonna be out fishing today? Who's going fishing today? It just finished raining here, Jody. It's been raining here all night. Oh, I'm sorry, Rusty. Yeah, what'd you get in the Costco, Jody? JG, don't give her any ideas. Oh yeah, she does have her live tonight. She does need to get some sleep. Hey Parker, how you doing, bud? Parker, I'd like to hook up with you and go fishing with you again sometime. That would work. So what are you doing today, Parker? Are you getting ready to go to work? Or are you fixing to go fishing again? Oh yeah, Parker's got to go to work today. That's right. Parker, you'll like my new truck when you see it. He'll be back up, Terry. I'm glad Bugman's doing it. I don't know what happened to Mr. Parker. I think the intro got caught up with Mr. Parker. I'm going to do a video on it, so I'm going to wait till it
All
gets
right,
light
I'm
up.
sorry.
I'm going to do a video on the truck.
That's cold rain. Morning, Parker. Rusty. It wasn't raining 10 minutes ago. It's cold.
It just quit here.
Flip flops on too.
Flip flops.
Flip flop. I'm gonna be getting shoes because I usually just keep flip flops by the door. But yeah, goodness gracious, he'd been out once already today, so he didn't really have to go out.
JG, I'm not making no payments. I only made one payment to buy the truck, and I have no payments. I paid it off in full.
Yeah, I can't justify a new vehicle, not a new truck, man. The price, what are they, $70,000?
Avid. It's Avid.
Hold on, Terry, I got you, buddy. There we go. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How are you, man?
Let me put on these other glasses so I don't have to go like that, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got those.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I'm
Plus
glad I
it
don't
look-
have to wear glasses anymore.
There we go. Hey, that's a good idea with your truck, man, to
I
wait
dropped
and
the phone on my face twice. So
Everybody's
I'll
always
be
asking me
listening.
about it, so I'm just going to do a video on it.
Okay, Jody. We
Yeah.
don't want to have phone injuries today to the face.
I just need to put a video up of my old truck to my new truck.
nice. That's what
Well,
that's what
a new vehicle.
that was what I did when I got my truck. I sent before picture when it was
Brought to you by Lyft.
brand new sitting there. I sent it to my friends and because I just moved to Texas from San Diego. So when I got here, first thing I did was bought a new truck. My friends in San Diego are like, "Oh, let's see your truck, man. Let's see your truck." So I sent them a picture of the stock F-150, right? And they're like, "Oh, nice, man, nice." Then a few weeks later, after I had my way with it, I sent them another picture, and they're like, "Did you get another truck?" It was like,
Hey,
I
Dave.
kind
Good
of,
morning, Danny Stone. How are you, buddy?
But-
You working today, Danny? You're up bright and early. We getting dressed with you, are we?
Yeah, Danny should be getting ready to go to work.
Yeah, I know D came in and Chad had already left for work, so he must have headed out early today. And they had a good show last night with J Dog
Nice.
up late and challenging Chad to a 1v1. I love when that happens, especially in the wintertime when I can't really go fishing much.
yeah.
I overslept last night. I didn't get up when I should have got up. I missed the show.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It rained from morning till night here yesterday. I had to put a pump in the pool and pump it out. It was fixing to run over.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rain. Let me see what
Oh, yeah.
it says is going to happen today. I might.
It
Well, let's
rained
see,
here
right
from
now at
yesterday afternoon till this morning.
7 a.m. I have a 97% chance of rain. That's pretty good. I'll take those odds.
Oh,
Well,
man.
hey, my rainstorm's heading your way, Bugman.
Well, it says at 12 it drops to a 15% chance, and then it works its way back up until nothing above 50% chance until tomorrow, it looks like. So we'll be all right. It's going to rain today and part of tomorrow, and Sunday it's a 64% chance. And if you're a betting man, that's a pretty good bet that it's going to rain Sunday. My weekend just got really
Yeah.
heading your way
yucky.
anyway.
I had a boat dock I have to get stained. It's been 90 days now since it was put in, and I had to wait for the treated lumber to dry before. So this week was my target to do that, and the rain came. So now and I had another job interjected. So now Saturday I got to go do the pool work, and then Sunday go stain the boat dock. Hopefully, weather permitting.
I was going to say, if it's not raining, then you can't stain it if it's raining.
Yeah, and I want a good day after so that it doesn't get rained on when it's green and leak into the waterway. I'm real sensitive of the waterway there.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, I was talking to J Dog yesterday, and he told me to go get this at the dollar store instead of Red Bull. I'm undecided. I should have bought Red Bull as a backup, but I didn't think about it.
The Red Bull instead of that stuff.
In the mid 90s, when I first drank a couple Red Bulls, I went in to buy one morning, and the lady behind the cashier goes, "Do you like that stuff?" I go, "Well, I used to get this natural energy drink, ma'am, but they don't have it anymore, so I figured I'd try one of these." She goes, "I don't like them." I said, "Oh, really?" She goes, "Yeah, they smell like baby powder." And I'm like, "Huh?" And then I cracked one. I smelled it. At that time, I was a single dad and had a freaking little kid. And I'm like, I'll be damned, man. It does smell like baby powder.
I'm gonna notice that from now on. Thank you. Don't be ruining my Red
She
Bull.
messed me. I still drink them, man.
I drink them every day.
And
Baby,
then,
hey, it smells like baby powders and fresh diapers.
yeah, nice and fresh. It's
Yeah.
okay, man. Just like me, I'm the kind of walk in the bathroom. I like when it smells like they poured Clorox in the toilet, man.
Hey, Danny Stone, are you going to be fishing tomorrow?
You're strange. You're strange.
Yeah, you noticed, huh? I try hard.
What state do you live in?
You think it's better, Uncle Lou? I think it's a little too sweet, even though it says no. It says 0 sugar. I usually don't like Diet Pepsi or whatever, anything like that. But this doesn't have that aftertaste. But I wouldn't
I'm
go
in-
so far as to say it's better than Red Bull.
I'm in Texas now, Mr. Avid.
I have to send a rainstorm back your way just for you.
Texas.
What's that?
I said I'm
He
going to have to
said the
send a
rain's headed
rainstorm
back
back
your
your
way.
way just for you.
I can't hear you.
I said I'm going to have to send a thunderstorm back your way just for you.
Oh, it was going off yesterday. My wife works a block away, and there was one that smacked, and my son was home with me. And right when she said, well, right as it was like going off, our son texted her. She said it was kind of funny, man.
Danny, is that not this weekend tomorrow, but the weekend after? So that's the Brian B tournament, right? I forget what it's called now. That's not the mystery teammate
partner
one, is it?
challenge.
Where I thought the mystery teammate, I thought that he would draw teams in private and then you would fish, and at the end of the tournament you would get revealed who your teammate was. Didn't he do it like that last year?
I don't think you know who your teammate is until after the tournament.
Yeah, that's how it was last year. But this year he drew them live online, so I don't know. What tournament's tomorrow there, Parker?
Oh.
Surprise partner. That's what it's called. There you go, Danny. I couldn't remember the name of it.
We'll go with that one. There we go.
Surprise partner tournament.
So, Parker, you're
know
going to
who
be
your
in the
partner is
boat.
until-
Danny Stone's on the bank. It'd be a shame that you guys didn't draw each other as partners. That would have worked.
Parker Dam in Arizona?
Partner. Who's Reeling by Faith, Danny? I don't know him, I don't think. See if I can look him up. Reeling by Faith.
I think I subbed to the channel.
Where are they fixing to fish at?
All over. It's a thing where you have
It's an online tournament.
one bank and one
partner
boat
can be in one
fisherman.
state, and another partner can be in another state.
What state and what lake? I got no idea where you are.
Danny fishes from Missouri, so he's going to be fishing in Mississippi.
Nice.
I don't know where Reeling by Faith is, but
Morning, Chad. I talked to your wife earlier and told her to give you a kiss, and you was already gone, man.
and I think Austin fishes the James, I think.
Hey, Danny, is
Yeah.
that all one word? Reeling by? Oh, no, that ain't
Fishing
it.
by faith is 2 words.
Yeah, you get a whole
About
lot of stuff
Bluebird.
when you put by faith in there, though.
Yeah, I'm used to very deep water in the lakes and in the ocean, and since I moved here, it really put a hurt on me. I've been fishing this ankle deep water all the time, man. It's been bugging me.
Oh,
Yeah,
And my center console, so I can get out to deep water in the Gulf, I got my gas tank fouled, so I got to purge the tank and dork around. I've been hurting so bad, I've been thinking about just hooking an external tank into it to head out, but geez, man, you got to go over 20 miles, almost 50 miles out to hit any decent water.
Hey, Parker, that's a pretty good partner. Danny, I can't find Reeling by Faith. I'm not familiar with him.
fishing by faith. Hold on, I'll get it.
I got it. Never mind. I was doing it wrong then.
Oh.
I'm dyslexic. Fishing by Faith. That makes it a whole different world. There we go.
Let's see if I get this up on the big screen.
I got it.
Hey, yeah, I do.
Looks like a bass fisherman to me. No, I'm kidding.
Another ditch pickler, huh?
Let's see.
Oh God, he's got this on the big
Yeah,
screen.
it looks like he fishes for everything. But that's cool. Hey, now don't mention them bass fishing. I'm sorry, John. I said that bass fishing with all reverence, brother. Just total admiration. Yeah,
You said
Dan, I
that.
was right, wasn't I,
Yeah.
Danny? Dillon? By faith. I was right.
I've been a little bass fishing.
Oh, shut up. You're messing me up. You was wrong. I was right. I knew I was. Messing
I'm
with
sorry,
me.
I was wrong.
I was adding a G, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There it is. All right, I got you. Well, his picture's the guy in a pair of bibbed overalls, because you know that guy can catch catfish. I'm just saying. Thanks, Chad. Yeah, that guy's got a pair of bibs on. Ain't guy got a pair of bibbed overalls on. He's catching catfish. I don't care what you say. That's a fact. If it had a 2 in it, would have been even better. Yeah, Chad, I just got it. Thanks, buddy. Are you on your way to work? You can't be texting and driving now. Unless you're in the parking lot. I look out for my
Chad,
people.
he's flying down the highway while he's texting.
I'm Mr. Safety here, see.
Well, I use that
50,
talk to text, so I just hit the button and yap. But man, it never says what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It'll mess you all up.
Talk to text don't speak country. I've tried it, so I can't use it.
It just, I don't know what it does, man. It just puts down what it wants.
Parker Pursuit, I find that really hard to believe, dude. A better bass fisherman than a cat fisherman. I think that probably flips after this year, dude, because you caught some really nice catfish this year.
He's Mr. Blue Cat.
Well, yeah, he's caught some hogs this year, man. I'm talking monster catfish.
So
Yeah,
most of you guys,
one that has almost 1 million views or something.
so most of you guys just fish catfish most of the time?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is catfish community, man.
Okay. I do.
Most of the year. I also fish for bait fish and crappie and striped bass and muskies.
I fish for everything, man. I'll net bambuja and I'll troll for marlin and fish all in between. Doesn't matter. I'm happy catching crawdads.
I'm a bluegill fisherman for food, and then catfish. I just started learning to catch catfish about 2 years ago. Yeah, just by finding these guys. And
that was one of the first things I fished for in the 70s. Where I used to live, there was a lake across the street, and it was nobody went there but me. So I used to go and gig frogs and shoot ducks and catch catfish and bluegill.
Are you monetized, Parker?
Hey, just call Gary Parker the superstar.
3 million views? Heck yeah, I would.
He's had a couple videos hit over 1 million views.
He just said that one hit 3 million last night. That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
holy moly!
He's had another one that's hit 1 million.
Are those shorts or full-on videos?
I think they're full-on videos.
Go to Parker Pursuit and see that monster catfish he caught this year. It's huge. I don't even know how big. You know, the biggest one I ever seen caught on live, and it's just me because I don't watch that much, is the one on the dock that was 92 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest one I ever saw live in a lake at San Diego was just over 100.
Catfish?
Yeah, believe it or not, lakes in San Diego got catfish over 100 pounds.
Only one big video? What do you mean by big as in length? Don't you come up here and try to suck up to me this morning. Oh, you got to go out till? Hold on, then go back out. You see? Telling you what,
there you go again.
It is literally worse than having
Oh, you
children.
only got one big video. I thought you had two. My mistake, Parker. That one video you have is still climbing.
See, I got to go back and forth with chat or picture here. I just got the little phone
Right,
going.
just stay in chat on the laptop and watch this on the big screen.
Not Johnny Knoxville, bad grandpa.
Yeah, he does kind of remind you Johnny Knoxville.
Woo! That's a cold rain right there. 3 million views. I get with you, Parker, sometime. I'm going to talk to you about that and learn about. I'll never be monetized. I mean, I'll never have that kind of subscribers, but that's interesting.
Hey, never say never.
So if you have, hey Parker, how many subscribers have you picked up from having that many views?
No kidding, huh?
That would be the part that the ratio, for lack of a better word, that I would want to see. You know,
Man, I'd get scared if I had that many views on a video.
yeah. Especially me, because I say bad words sometimes, and
That's why I don't promote my channel much.
Yeah,
I do a tremendous amount of cussing, more than fishing.
I'm not perfect. I do say a few cuss words, but I apologize afterwards because I try to keep my channel PG.
Yeah. I have a hard time. I've been hanging around pirates all my life. It's hard.
Kerry reminds
I'm an
me
ex-truck driver, so
Johnny Knoxville.
I know about cuss words.
Well, heck, man, you're in that truck. If I was driving that truck by myself, I'd be cussing out people left and right.
Hey, Parker, I like your honesty, brother. I'm with you.
I cuss them out just walking down the street.
30% skill.
You're driving a 70-foot semi, and you got four-wheelers cutting you off, thinking you're going to stop on a dime, and they hit the brakes.
They say location. That's the
plus you're hitting that damn air horn right behind them.
Oh, my son's friend came over yesterday with his truck, and he had just put a gnarly air horn from a train in it. Oh my God, it was insane. Yeah. But to be legal in Texas, you got to have a 3-stage. I was going to install it for him, and I didn't know this. If I'd have done it, it would have been totally illegal. You have to have a 3-step to get to that loud one, or it's illegal. So you got to have like a regular horn, and I don't know what, and then the air horn.
The medium horn, then you got the loud horn.
That first Crappie Live was a good one, though. That was a lot of fun. I don't know. Sometimes you just hit on, I call it the magic, just, and it's not planned. You can't make it happen. And it just organically happens where all of a sudden this live turns into a lot of fun. And I mean, it was organic, the way that one happened. It was kind of like an experiment.
If I go live, I'm getting skunked, man.
Well, yeah, I never go live fishing anymore. Every time I literally, and I used to do the stand day live ones on Sunday morning. I catch 2 or 3 fish the half hour before we go live, and I catch a nice big one 10 minutes before, and the whole 3 hours after I don't catch a fish. So I don't go live anymore.
Well, that's why I'll have like before and after videos or whatever, but I don't have active ones because half the time I nail a nice fish and I hand my phone to somebody to record it. First thing they do is turn it off, man.
Well, the only one
I had that happen everywhere.
I never dreamed they would even get those kind of views. The ones you think aren't no good.
Yeah, I know.
That first live, I don't know. Maybe it was that on a Saturday, John? I can't remember if it was a Friday or Saturday night, but it might have been timing or something. But if you missed that one, that was a lot of fun. I forget who all was. I think even Hogleg was in there, and I forget who all come up chatted in that one. But that, can you hear the dog barking?
Yeah.
You remember the foghorn that they used to have at the lighthouses?
Get it cheese. That's what that is. Oh, hold on. I'm going to make sure the camera. I just let him out not 5 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
You remember the foghorns from the
Yeah.
lighthouses?
Yeah. In San Diego on the point, there's a lighthouse, Cabrillo. But as you leave the bay, because it's an active military bay, they got it really channeled out with cans and nuns or channel markers, green and red. Out at the very end, as you're heading south on the left-hand side, there's a buoy there that has a air horn in it, and we call it the Whistler buoy.
No, I'm talking about the old ones that were really loud and deep.
Yeah, the lighthouse in San Diego, it doesn't have an alarm.
No, I mean that old lighthouse
Yeah,
air horn was really
yeah,
loud and deep.
yeah.
I took a smaller version of that, but really loud, and had it mounted to my semi.
Yeah, I've heard some that have gnarly horns, man.
This one was loud, and it was me.
I think I'll do a video and put it up on my son's buddy with his truck.
Hey, Mike Greenlaw, how you doing?
It's full on train.
Hey, Keith.
Hey, Mr. Smallwater, how's it going, buddy?
I tell you what, you get a car that cuts you off and hits the lights and gets right up close to your front bumper, and you hit that. You see a car take off really quick.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Smallwater will appreciate this. Look, here's an original Louis BB1N.
I got two of them.
With I got this one in 1981. This reel right here has caught probably well over 20 bass over 10 pounds, and I've got a couple over 15 on it. It's still smooth. It's retired though. I don't use it anymore, but it's still smooth as silk.
I found two of them in the yard sale the other day.
Pardon me?
I found two of those reels in the yard sale the other day, still in the boxes.
Oh, nice, man. A couple of the white Louis over there too. There's this small portion of fishing gear.
Who have it?
There. I'm sorry, fellas. I was trying to do something. Has anyone heard from John Parker? Because we were supposed to do this together, and I hadn't heard from him. So if any of you know if he wants to go live, because he said something about going live later. And if he's wanting to go live or you hear from him, whatever, let me know, okay? Because I don't know if he wants to do a live or not. Oh, wait, I got my cam off. I'm sorry. Hey, guys, sorry I had to mute you for a minute because I got to find out some stuff. Not being rude, just trying to slow things down so I can make sure I'm not walking on nobody, because John Parker was supposed to have this time, and I ain't heard from him. So if any of you guys out there have heard from him, let me know, okay, in the chat so we can hook up. Hey, Kelly, how you doing? I'm gonna see who I missed. I had to slow stuff down because I took care of it, Mike. That's what I was saying. I was like, hey, slow down a minute. I got some stuff I want to talk about. Hey, Lynn Church, how are you? I don't think I've ever seen your name before. Welcome in. It's good to see you. I looked on his channel, I mean, I try to be, polite as far as the live program stuff goes. I don't want to walk on nobody's stuff. And so if anyone knows if John Parker's trying to go live or if he's live, just please let me know, because I'm not real good at all this. And yeah, Kelly, that's what I'm saying. I didn't see anything, and I didn't get any emails last night, and okay, Chad, I love you, buddy. You're so sweet. But you know me, man, I don't want to walk on nobody's show or anything, because that's just the kind of guy I am. I don't want nobody, vibing me or nothing. Well, if we'd have been catching more fish, Chris, maybe we wouldn't have had time to talk. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Gotcha. I love you, Chris. I'm teasing you, buddy. I had a great time. I don't know how to look up Lynn Church. I need to follow him because the name, I probably got him followed and just don't know it. I'm trying to see. No. Hey, Lynn, good morning. And sorry if I don't know you. But, guys, I'm sorry I muted you, but I was trying to get something out and I was getting confused. I had myself muted, my cam stopped, and I was like, okay, stop everything. No guarantee on job security. No, Terry, I had to slow things down because I was getting confused, dude. I put the mute on and you kept unmuting it, and I was trying to get some information about, because this is technically not supposed to be when I was on. It's John Parker was supposed to be on, and I had to try and get some information to find out if he was trying to go live or whatever, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to walk on nobody's stuff, because I'm a polite human being. See, that's the new me. The old me would have told y'all to kiss my butt and done whatever the heck I wanted to, but I'm trying to be a better human being nowadays, because God told me I was being an a-hole in my life, and he pointed it out in a firm manner. So now I apologize for slowing everything down, but I realized it was my show. My boots are made for walking, John. You ought to see me when I wear them too. The white ones usually get the best looks. And I'm not good in the mornings. The fact that I even get up here in the morning is amazing, because usually on the typical day when I wake up, I don't talk to nobody for an hour. And I did have my Bible quote for today, just so y'all know I ain't BSing about God trying to keep me right. I put it up because I think some of it missed us. It's actually a pretty good one. Psalm 62, 5-6. Whether you're a Christian or not, it's cool by me, but to be honest with you, there's some really good information in that book. Even if you're not a Christian, there's a lot of good stuff in there to read about. Wars, infidelity, you name it, it's in there. It would have made a good soap opera, let's put it that way. Hey, Chris, are you guys working this weekend or going fishing? Make it look easy. Yeah, Uncle Lou, that's what I do. I make it look easy. Yeah, it's amateur day on the live. No, you're all right, Abbott. I have brain damage. Terry B understands that you hit your head a lot when you race dirt bikes, and when you're young, and they warn you about that. And you get old, you understand that it's true. And for those of you that didn't read it, it's that's a pretty good Bible verse about not being shaken. you get a lot of stuff thrown at you in life, and it gets hard. And sometimes it's nice to have something solid to lean against when the wind's blowing hard. Oh, are you fishing with Chad Sunday, Chris? Oh man, you lucky. I like to fish with Chad on his new boat, but I can't go fishing anywhere but close right now. Everybody knows. But that's all right. I did take Dad out. For those that wasn't in here earlier, we went and load tools up in the garage yesterday, and I kept telling him, "Now, Pop, when you get tired, sit down in that chair and let me know." I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, you can look at him and tell that he's not fine. I go to put something in the back of the SUV, and I hear a thump. Sure enough, I go in there, and he'd tripped over a hammer and fell down. And I keep warning him, you know, Pop, one of these days you're going to do that, and you're going to break something. And at your age, they're going to put you in one of them places, and I ain't going to have no way to stop it. So you got to listen to me when I try to tell you that stuff. You know, Chad, I will. And we had the social worker lady come in from hospice, and yeah, Mike, that's about how I roll, brother. Believe me, that's me being nice. I didn't even, I mean, the old me would say, "Hey man, shut the F up and let me finish what I'm trying," you know, but the new me doesn't do that. But the social worker lady that come with the hospice people found out I'd been doing this for about 5 years by myself, and she said she's going to try to get me some help where I can get away every now and then for a couple of days. And just like anything else with government, it takes time. So I'm waiting to hear back from her. You know, I actually had got to the point, if my work picked up, that I was just going to hire someone. You know, you can pay a nurse to come in, and I was just going to hire someone for a weekend so I could get away and go fishing. My tip of the week. Yep. I'll show you the tip, Mike or Chris. Hey, I seen a bear down in Florida, John. Here, guys, I'm sorry if that's pinned back up, or y'all come back up. I didn't mean to slow everything down like that. I just was getting confused. And the only thing I knew to do was hit the stop button. And it's got to be this stuff because it ain't Red Bull, and that's all I'm saying about that. For J-Dog, who didn't even come in this morning, even though he suggested that yucky stuff. Yeah, John, I keep forgetting about that. You got your mom, don't you? Yeah, man, I didn't realize how many people actually are in this situation, and it's tough, man. Yeah, Terry, the thing is, you know, Pop's not really at the end of the life thing. What happened is we were at his pain doctor because he has prostate cancer that metastasized to the bone, and it's in his hip. Some of the bone cancer is, and it's just killing him. So they put a pain pump in. Well, they got to the point with it that it's not really working anymore, and that was as strong as they could go. And so they said that we're going to put you in contact with hospice, and it's not because he's at the end of life. They said they have access to stronger medicine, basically is what it is. And because it could be a long time before the cancer actually would kill him, but in between that time, he's going to be living in like major pain, they said, you know what I mean? So they hooked us up with them people. There you go, Terry, man, brother. I just had to slow stuff down. My brain only goes.
No, that's all right, buddy.
And Chad, you're right. J-Dog needs all the beauty sleep he can get. How he landed such a good woman, I'll never know. Well, she's never been married and had no kids. He kept asking her, "Are you sure, Mom?" My grandma, dude, when she lived with us originally, so it hadn't just been Mom and them, but she was 97 at the time, and I'd get up in the morning and she'd be sitting there tapping her foot like she was mad, and I'm like, "Granny, what's going on?" The guy was out back again last night, and I told him to leave. And I'm like, "I'll make sure the guy in the top hat don't come in the yard no more." and she would stand
I
at the
remember
front
you.
door and wave at people. Like,
I remember you telling that one about the guys in the yard with the top hat.
yeah,
Man.
and I tried, because Mom had tried to correct her, and I'd be like, Mom, do me a favor, just play along, because there's no doubt in my mind she sees this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So don't try and correct them, because you'll confuse them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, John, she never got to the point where she didn't know us until she was like, I think 100, getting ready to turn 101. We had to put her in a nursing home because she was just, I don't know what it does. Maybe it's like your adrenaline glands or something. But when they do that, sometimes they'll be up for 3 days, 2 or 3 days solid with sleeping
Yeah.
very little. You
Yeah.
cannot keep up with them.
Yeah. I have a saying though that when bad things happen, good things happen that otherwise wouldn't. So you got to be ready
I
for
agree,
them.
man.
When bad things are happening, it's very hard to acknowledge the good ones.
Yeah.
But there were a couple funny ones with Grandma. One of them was she would read the doggone National Enquirer, thought it was the gospel, and then I was watching that comedy TV show Reno 911.
Yeah. Yeah.
She thought it was a real TV show, police show, man. She's like, I don't know what's wrong with these damn cops, but boy, I'm like,
yeah, Lynn, the pain thing.
Anyway,
he had a spell, and we almost called an ambulance because he was hurting so bad, and I'd never even seen him like this to the point in all my life. And he raced flat track, road racing, dirt bike, broke bones, and never ever said, I want to go to the hospital. And he actually walked in and looked at it and said, hey, we need to go to the hospital. And that's when the pain people said, yeah, that CAD pump, when they first put that in, it was life-changing. My mom has a bad back, and she was literally couch bound. And they put one in, and it changed her life. So if you know anyone that has bad back pain, old people, that they can't get around and stuff, go to your pain doctor and ask them about it. It will change their life. My mom went from not being able to move to up and doing laundry, doing dishes, just, you know what I mean? And had we known 5 years ago, for instance, we would have been, I didn't even know it existed until they done it for Dad. So if you've got an elderly person with bad pain, that thing's awesome. I didn't know it was called that, Lynn. Thanks for letting me know. CAD pump. I'm going to remember.
Yeah. I hadn't seen that either.
Yeah, it's amazing. Literally, it is a life changer for someone who lives in chronic pain.
Yeah. I know one thing that's difficult when folks get older is a lot of times folks try to deny them all the little delights like ho-hos and ice cream and this and that they like. I said, yeah, I know I was guilty of doing that in the beginning with her because I cook a lot and all, and I was real conscious of what I was making. And finally I said, I'll still keep giving her good food, but man, when she wants the cake and whatever little damn fruit pies and all she wants and cookies, the hell with it, she gets them. So we started keeping it. But the problem was then my two sons started hitting it, man. Yeah.
Well, when
that's what pissed me off. Before that, we didn't have none of that in the house. No ice cream, no cakes, no fruit rolls. Well, good fruit rolls, but no crap food, man. Grandma violated that one, and the boys kept the spirit alive. They still do it.
Yeah. Well, when Grandma was in her 90s, I'd let her. I don't give you. What are you gonna do? Die? You eat anything you want. You want to eat ice cream 3 times a day? By God, I'll fill the freezer up. I'm like you. I don't care. Same with Pop. I don't know how long he has left. He can eat anything he wants. The bad part is he's on these Ensures and he drinks them like I drink Mountain Dew. And I don't know if you ever bought Ensure by the case. It's a car payment almost in a month. But I laugh. But like you said, at that point, you can have and do anything you want. Wait a minute, John. She is mad and says, I'll never forget this. My grandma, my cousin would come and get her and take her to lunch on Sundays. And she would be coming home. And my grandma would lean over and whisper to her, they don't feed me. They don't feed me. And my cousin, she's a dizzy blonde, and she would come home with the first few times and ask me about it. And I would take her in there and open the fridge and say, you think she don't eat? You think that's my junk food in there?
I said, we don't give her none of this, damn it. She's got a little bar fridge over there in the room.
Or she would tell me she was going to call cops on me. Or one time it was I'm going to call the FBI. I'm calling the FBI now. Here you go, Granny. Tell them I said
Oh,
hi.
well-
We get a hold of them.
Well, we had to, Grandma got mad because my wife and I would be at work and the boys would be at school and Grandma would be home, and we had neighbors kind of aware of her, and also it was good. We had tight neighbors, and also it was okay for her. And but then we found out the doorbell would go off. She'd answer the door and she'd spill the beans, give them all the information they wanted, no matter who was there.
Yeah.
So one day we got home from work. She goes, the police were here today. I go, what? She goes, yeah. 2 guys came up to the door and they had a string around their neck with a badge on it. And they started asking a bunch of, I'm like, Grandma. So after that, we had to forbid her from answering the door. Man, she got bent out of shape over that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, Grandma, you got to realize there's people out there that are going to try bad stuff and trick you.
Right there.
So we don't want you, because we knew. Then we went around to all the neighbors and go, hey, man, were there a couple agents here today asking questions about something that happened at the park? And they all go, no. I'm like, yeah, okay, figures. So the way I am, man, I took the next couple days off work and up all night, dude, ready to do battle.
Well, that's when I had to put Grandma in the nursing home. I was working a different job at the time because I got tired of appraising, but there were times it got to the point I had to leave my door cracked and sleep where I could see in the living room at night because she would get up and try. Yeah. And that's when it was like, I can't do this. I was literally exhausted. Hi, Joan. How are you this morning? And, the bad part is she started getting dementia right when COVID happened. And we couldn't put her in anywhere right then, And it was, we made it a year and a half before it was fine. I had to tell Mom, this is too much. It was exhausting her and she didn't want to admit it because she was 80,
Yeah.
And
well, that's the other thing that makes it difficult.
Very much so. And
yeah, I know. And I didn't want to always emphasize that. We tried to not touch on that base, as they say. So howdy, Miss Joan.
The hard decision, and it was a tough one.
Well, what made it hard for us, Grandma got up from the table, and I was just out of reach. I was over at the sink, and Grandma got up with the table slowly, and I turned around and looked. I turned back around. Next thing you know, the reflection in the window, I see her going over, and before I could turn around and get there, wham, she smacked off the floor and hit her head.
Yeah.
Re-broke her hip, freaking smacked her head, and all of a sudden it started bulging out. It bulged so much it ripped the skin open and started bleeding. So I had to call the ambulance, and you know how it is nowadays. They think that we were conducting elder abuse.
You're abusing somebody.
So I had to go.
Breaking hips is the worst. That ends them up in a nursing
home. Well, then she went to the hospital, and a couple of days later, they want to put her in a hospice. I'm like, no way, that'll kill her, man. I said, she's got to come home with us.
Yep.
So I took off work for about 6 months, and I rigged her room with the hidden oxygen and set up the feeding and just set up all the stuff in there and put down commercial grade carpet. And so the hospital bed would roll, and I took all her stuff and consolidated it in the closet and put the TV up so she had plenty of room, but she couldn't get up. But I had to physically take her in to the shower and feed her there and all that stuff. Although they sent out a nurse twice a week for me with her health care, the nurse would just sit there with me and BS about what I was cooking for her and all that. The nurses loved it because they didn't have to do nothing.
Yeah.
I kept her clean and fed and all that and all her stuff organized.
Well, I got Dad on the shower thing because I told him, I said, Pop, if you don't start taking a shower regularly, they're going to send that lady over here to do it. And she's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
You're not going to get some 20-year-old hot nurse fresh out of nursing school. I said, you're going to get the fat, ugly ones. So you better straighten up. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I said fat and ugly, but I come from that generation.
Well,
that's what we do. That's my PC disclaimer before someone types something in there. I can't believe you said fat and ugly. I'm fat and ugly, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And so if I can call myself that,
I'm just fucking ugly, man.
Exactly. If the shoe fits, wear it.
Yep.
He doesn't, John.
That's why I wear a hat. I have to wear that all the time when they fly over.
I'm going to have a heart attack either in my sleep or sitting in a boat fishing somewhere. I don't want to get to be 100 years old. The bad part is everyone on my mom's side lives to be 100 years old. I don't want to be that guy. You know, well, with Dad, he falls, and that's the one I kept telling him, Pop. And I catch him now. I watch him, and he gets out of his chair and he starts leaning over and walking. You know how you get that forward momentum, and I'll get up just in time to catch him and straighten him up. Say, Pop, now when you get up, stop, straighten yourself up, and then start walking. Yeah, I was going over, wasn't I? You know, Chad, that some people are just so gifted. The other part about that, Chad, you're not only good looking, you're a great fisherman too. I mean, you know, when talent was being handed out that day, you evidently got in line 2 or 3 times, and I just don't think it's fair in life, to be honest with you. You can't
No,
have
when they
all-
said time to go, grab
Yeah.
the pole.
You just kept getting it back in line as handing good things out. Still driving bass boats and airboats. See, that's it. You know, John, until Dad got the cancer, we took off. He was 78 or 79, I think, and we took off on motorcycle rides for 4 days, rode about 800 and some miles through the mountains of Kentucky. And he was, you know, it was sketchy at times, but we did it. And had I known it was going to be the last time we'd ever get to do it, we'd have went a lot longer naturally, but you don't know those things. Or like the last fishing trip we went on was the week he got diagnosed with the cancer, and not knowing we'd been going to this place for 30 some years, twice a year, rent this little cabin and bluegill fish. But I didn't know that week that it was going to be the last time we'll ever be able to do it, because he just doesn't have that coordination anymore to do it, even though he says he does. Hey, good morning, 922. Good to see you this morning. Buggy, oh yeah, I know. I shouldn't stroke Chad too hard, should I? I mean, he won't be able to get through the door at work here in a little bit. They'll have to bring the deflation vise in and squeeze his head back down.
Yeah, roll into something else, man.
Gig.
I love that guy.
Yeah, fishing, you know, and I believe that staying active, like the fishing every day and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, guys, well, you guys probably don't have them there. I grew up in a factory town, and these guys would work in the factories till they were almost 80. And 90% of them, when they retired from the factory, would go home and they were dead within a year, because they, you know, that was their life for 40 years. It was
what they looked forward to. They were good at doing it. They enjoyed it. They interacted with folks.
The same guys every day, well, around having coffee. Half of them didn't work. I mean, they clocked in and sat around and played euchre and stuff. That's how your automobiles got made in the 80s and 70s. That's why they fell apart. You don't see them no more.
Say, speaking of that, the funny one on Home Improvement, Tim Taylor, he was at the auto factory, and remember he shows the guy with the crooked eyes, and he goes, "And Mr. Joe over there, adjust the headlights."
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious, man.
My goodness, Dad, I come home one day, he had the van, and this is at the old house a couple years back. He had the van. It was getting dark. He had the van sitting on the back patio with the headlights facing the house, adjusting the headlights. And he had them.
Well, we used to do it against the garage door. Against the garage door, it was really easy to do it, you know?
And I was just like, Dad, what are you doing? Well, his headlights aren't adjusted right. So I take off.
Well, they used to have, you know, you had a horizontal and vertical axis on them where you could adjust them, man, and it was very cool. They were 3-dimensionally adjusted. They'd go up and down and sideways. And
he had them adjusted, great for him, but if you were the car coming the other way, you were not going to be able to see for another day or two.
That's how it is with my new Ford, man. My new Ford truck, the headlights, there's no adjustment for the damn things that I could find or research. I couldn't find it. And I got it lifted, and I run a little bit. I run a 1-inch nose high for attack at high speed, and when you're braking, it doesn't nosedive.
Door handle, and when you come by me, because your lights are blinding me, I just toss a sinker out the window up in the air, and it hits you about.
Yeah, I know, man. So
headlights down.
I got to put a little bull bar on it and a couple lights.
Yeah,
so I can see the damn road.
You know. They don't,
but they're not adjustable like the old ones, man.
They don't want you to adjust or tune anything. I hate new vehicles.
Aggravated me.
Worst thing I ever done was sold my 71 Chevy pickup truck. That's the biggest regret of my life.
Yep. I had a 90 that I had.
It didn't run fast. If you got the 55, it shook a little bit. But, man, it ran every day, and I could sit up in the the hood motor area of the truck. I could sit up in there and work on it.
It had a 350 in it.
No, it had straight 6-cylinder, 3-speed on the car.
Oh,
Best motor ever made. Like I said,
nice.
it wasn't fast, but
No. But it's
could
a
run
torque.
down
It's
the
most
road. That
reliable
motor
engine.
run.
You got plenty of room to work on it, and it's very reliable.
Well, that's it. It always ran. That's, I've
And
never.
parts were cheap.
My
Parts were
life,
cheap for it.
I always used my life. I never had a fast car or anything. I always lived my life. If I want to go fast, I'll find a hobby that involves racing. It's something, and I'll go fast then. That's when you go fast.
A cycle.
So I never really cared about a fast car or fast truck, and I never have. I don't even like fast boats. But then now when I hit 50, I don't want anything that goes over 60 mile an hour. Boat, car, I don't want nothing over 60. I hate the interstate speed limit's too high. I don't want, you know why? I mean, where I want to be at that moment, and I got nowhere to be in the rest of my life to get there. That's my new philosophy. After 50, I have nowhere to be in the rest of my life to get there. And people get so mad at me. I go out and get in the truck to leave. If you forgot something you wanted me to get or whatever, you can walk out 10 minutes later, and I'm still sitting in the truck finding something to watch and getting everything. I don't hurry no more. What would you say middle age is nowadays? I'd say it's at 40 is probably middle age.
Yeah.
Middle point of your life.
Oh, yeah.
John, you make a faster time short. I just don't go fast. But, I hit 50 and it dawned on me, man, dude, you got less summers left in your life that you're going to be able to do anything than you do life left. That's where I start judging. How many summers are you going to have left that you can go for a 300-mile dual sport ride on a weekend or something? You know what I mean? When you look at it in that manner, the best thing about fishing, you can do it till you die, thank God. Even if someone has to cast for you, they can hand you the pole. But I may have 20 summers if I'm lucky, and that's pushing it as bad as I tore my body up in my life,
Mm-hmm.
So when you put that in perspective, you definitely want to work a lot less and do a lot more. Unfortunately, I'm ended up where I'm at now because I had planned on spending my winters in Baja with the surfboard and my dirt bike, seriously, in a camper 20 years ago. That was
the 1000 was only a couple of weeks ago.
I know. I heard about that. But that was my plan. Is my son was gonna get a house. I was gonna live in the house in the summer and do appraisals and bust my butt all summer and make enough money that I could go and live in Baja during the wintertime.
Nice.
And fortunately, and I'm glad now. I'm not real sure I'd go down there now unless you know someone and know where to go, because it's not like it used to be. I mean, you'll lose your life and everything you own real quick down there.
Yeah, you got to be kind of careful down there nowadays. It's a bummer because I used to love going down there. There were a couple lakes I used to go fish down there, drive down in my Jeep with a buddy and bring our float tubes. It was awesome. My one buddy, he got 12 pounders back-to-back casts, 2 casts, 2 12s.
We talk about smashed potatoes down in the pants. Hey, John, I got a potato you can smash down your pants there, buddy. Yes, the endless summer. I'm all about that, dude. I so would live that life. There's a book out there. I don't know if you like that kind of adventure stuff. It's In Search of Captain Zero by Alan Weisbecker. And he grew up in Montauk, New York, and him and his buddy were surfers. And his buddy took off running from the law, headed through Mexico down to go into the far parts of South America to kind of disappear or whatever. Well, he didn't hear from him for a couple of years. And the guy wrote the book Cosmic Bandidos. So he had royalties coming in from this book from the 70s.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. Well, and he decks out this big Ford diesel 4-wheel drive truck with a truck camper and stuff, and him and his dog, and they take off, and he goes looking for the guy. And he documents the journey down through Mexico, and he went down through Baja, then a boat across to Mexico and stuff. And that's what got me on the idea of going and living down there. And him and Super Hunky that used to write for Dirt Bike Magazine, he got so fed up with America, he moved to Baja.
Which guy?
Super Hunky. From back in the 70s, Super Hunky. He's got a book out there called Monkey.
Oh, yeah. I can remember. There were a couple other guys. I forget their names. It was before Motocross Action even came out.
Oh, yeah. But that was my plan. So now here I live in Indiana where the river's no deeper. You can walk across it anywhere for 20 miles either direction of me. And I get to fish in a reservoir that's known for carp mainly.
Well,
Gig. Yeah, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Exactly. Yep, Hunter S. Thompson. I got his biography. What a dude, man. Wee Man and Steve-O doing. He does look like now. I get
later,
what you're saying, John. I get it now. He looks like Johnny Knoxville now, not Johnny Knoxville back in the day. There you go. I understand.
Bad grandpa.
Now, yeah.
Well, I'll share a little personal info with you. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed. Well, about 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with a heart problem. I went in for a routine checkup, and they found that I had a bad heart valve. And upon MRIs and everything else, they found I was born with a bad valve. So I'd fought with it all my life and didn't have full pressure and just figured I was pooped out because I was, pushing it hard. So they said, we want to do surgery. And I'm like, what do you mean you want to do surgery? I've been riding it out so far. I'll ride it out. You do surgery, I'll be worse off, man. So I rode it for a few years, and finally I started getting so pooped out, man, I couldn't do jack. I usually get to the job at 6 a.m, work till midnight. Dude, I was getting there at 10 a.m. and working till 2 and hitting the wall. I'm like, man, I can't take this. So I went into the doctor and I go, well, you're right. Let's do the heart surgery. I'm hitting the wall real bad. That was in September 5 years ago. So in September, I go in and I said, all right, well, the holidays are coming. I'm in the middle of building a couple kitchens right now. Tuna season's coming. I want to get through the holidays. Let's schedule the surgery for January. And the doc looks at me and goes, you're not going to make it to January.
Oh.
So that was September. So I go, well, when can we do it? He goes, well, I can put you in the first week in November. I'm like, all right. So I got the rest of September and I have October. All right. So hunting season, I had deer tags, fishing was on. So I finished up the 2 kitchens I was working on, man, and just started going hunting and fishing and visiting with a family. Also, he said, and by the way, his parting shot was, it's only a 50-50 chance you're going to make it off the cutting board.
Oh.
So I got faced with, in November, I may not be here anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to come to terms with that. I took my younger son out, and showed him how to launch the boat, set up the trollers and hook tuna and all that, and how to deal with the radio, communicate, navigate back, and let him run the boat and all that. Me and my buddy went out on a week-long hunting adventure, and I shot a nice buck and went in for surgery, and here I am. But that's why I kind of tend to haul ass on stuff and get a lot done. I know I don't have many days left.
Yeah, when the doctor tells you it's a 50-50, it's scary. Well, I had a perforation in my colon, had an infection about that big around inside me. I got real sick. I didn't know. Actually, it was the Monday after a national enduro. And
oh, man,
my belly got hurting real bad. And but I had 3 appraisals that week, right? So I'm in the hospital at the VA, and the doctors tell me we're going to put you in and give you these antibiotics and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you don't understand, Doc. I got work I got to do this week. And he looked at me and said, I'll tell you right now, you walk out this door, if it bursts, you're dead before the ambulance gets to your house. So how many of them are you going to get done? And I was like, okay, I understand now. This is I'd never been sick in my life, and I didn't understand.
Well, you never had to weigh anything that serious. Your work was always the most serious task at hand. Not, am I going to make it off the cutting board?
Well, and I like that quote. They say you've never heard anyone on their deathbed say, boy, I wish I'd have worked more.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Yep, I hate work. I'm the laziest human being on the planet.
Well, one of the things, though, when I was done a couple of weeks later, well, I don't know, a month later or so, it took a while because they split your sternum and pull it out and bench work it and put you on a heart-lung machine and all that good stuff, rope it back together with titanium wire. But they're going to have you do what's called occupational therapy. So I went in the first time for it, and man, there were people in a real bad way in there.
I asked them for the sex therapy myself. They sent me to Vegas.
Yeah. Well, so I was talking to a buddy of mine on the phone, and he was running a 6-pack charters by himself. He's from freaking Minnesota, man. He caught trout. I took him out and caught his first bass with him, first catfish. Took him out saltwater fishing before and all. So now the tides have turned. He got his captain's license. He's running a 6-pack charter by himself. I'm talking to him on the phone, and I go, "Hey, Chris, you doing the charters, right?" "Yeah, Terry." "By yourself?" "Yeah, Mr. Terry." I said, "Dude, what if I come out and I'm your deckhand, dude?"
There you go.
I said, "In lieu of occupational therapy, I'll come do that." So I was his deckhand on these private charters from, I did it from like April to October. Kind of lengthy occupational therapy there. Then went right back to doing kitchens.
Yeah,
till I moved here.
If I could find someone to pay me to do nothing, I'd be a professional. There you go, John. Shady Pines. Isn't that where the real hot blondes took their clothes off in the big water tank? I'm there. Sign me up, coach. Put me in. I want to play. But I don't even take stuff serious anymore. That Poland thing I was talking about, an old guy that was a state champion dirt bike racer when I was a kid. I was his paper boy. He had the same thing. They found him on his floor dead in his house.
Oh,
so I
man.
realize now that the doctor wasn't lying to me.
Right. Mr. Smallwater said a funny one there about Wee Man. My younger son, I always called him Buck or Buck Wee. And people go, "What do you mean Buck Wee?" I go, "Well, you've seen Wee Man. He's a wee little buck."
You got to wonder what's in that, right, John? You live in Florida. No, I'm kidding. I can't do that. The VA will cut me off, even if it's illegal, because until the federal government makes it legal, you can't smoke pot if you got certain medicines through the VA, because you get to pee in a cup about once every 2 months. You know what cracked me up? They make my dad pee in a cup. He's 85 and has cancer, and he takes pain meds and stuff, and he goes in, and once a year they make him pee in a cup. I looked at that lady and said, "You got to be effing kidding me." She said, no, everyone has to do it. So he's 85 and he's dying. If he wants to smoke a joint, what on earth would you guys care?
No kidding. He ought to fix them and bring in a damn one of those little umbrellas and a straw they put in drinks and a swizzle stick and stick it in there and hand it to him.
Well, I had to tell him to be careful what he says.
My friend did that, and they bitched him out because they said, "You got to go do it again. Now you contaminated it." I laughed when he said that. I'm like, "You contaminated your pee-pee?"
Smoke weeds.
He's all, "Shut up, dude."
I ain't going to argue with him about that one, John, to be honest with you. I think it has vast medical purposes, too. My mom was down to 78 pounds because she was sick. And because she took pain medicine, she couldn't smoke a joint, get an appetite in the morning. And I'm like, really? Almost 80 years old, can't eat because she's not hungry. And you say she can't smoke a joint, which would make her hungry, which in turn would put weight on her. This place is so screwed up.
One thing
I was going to say, I told Dad he has to be careful what he says, because the nurse was here the first time. And he said that, well, sometimes I get short of breath. 2 days later, they show up with an oxygen thing. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so it's sitting in the closet. Dad said, "What's that for?" I said, "Pop, I'll be honest with you. From now on,
I got to stand up. My butt's
hurt. Nurse lady, because if you say I can't go pee, they're going to come in and give me catheters and start making sure you pee every day."
I'm sitting on the rolling seat I use for doing brake jobs and
I
such.
Be able to get up.
My butt was going to sleep.
In that buffer. That's one of the good kind too, man. That came in from Florida. I don't know. They got this scam going on here now in Indiana. This D8. You guys heard of this stuff? It looks like weed to me. I don't know how they're selling it legally in the gas stations, but it literally, if you open up the thing and smell it, it smells like green bud. And they call it D8 or something. And it's one molecule off of marijuana's chemical makeup or something. Somehow they found a loophole in the law and they sell this stuff. And if you got pulled over, they're going to take you to jail because they're going to say it's weed. But they're selling it everywhere around here. And you're right, Gig, it is junk. I still got friends. I got friends that are professional, successful human beings, have gotten high since we were freshmen in high school. So there's nothing wrong with it. Open the gate for the
I'm
employee.
from Southern California, San Diego, so I
Yeah.
won't say nothing.
Well, no, yeah. And, well, get this. I got Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio around me. All three of them have recreational marijuana legal now. And
Yeah.
the only reason it's not legal in Indiana is Eli Lilly, which Chris works at. It's the best place in the state of Indiana to work. They're right there by the state house, and you know they're
They're
not gonna,
pharmaceuticals, aren't they?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Eli Lilly, they're fighting tooth and nail to let it not get legalized here, and they probably contribute massively to political campaigns, I suppose. I mean, they didn't start selling cold beer, or they didn't still start selling carry out beer in Indiana till about 8 or 9 years ago. On Sundays, I'm talking about. You couldn't buy carry out beer on Sundays until about 8 or 9 years ago, or maybe 10. I lost track of time.
It was funny, in the early mid '80s, I moved to Oregon for a year, and I remember on a Sunday, man, I go strolling in the store and buy my groceries and walk up with some beer and put it up, and the lady pulls it out and sets it to the side, and I'm like, what the hell? We can't sell beer on Sundays. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't know that.
8922, I'm telling you, this stuff looks just like bud you're getting up in Michigan. Not that I've been up to Michigan to see any bud at the dispensaries, but I know people. You'll never get me to confess to anything. But yeah, I mean, I ain't never tried it because I'm afraid it'd be like some of that. What was that stuff they were selling in the little foil packet looking things? What did they call that crap? It was making people freak out, and they ended up outlawing it around here too. It was supposed to be some kind of stuff sprayed with this chemical that was.
Oh, I never liked anything like that.
No, you know,
purely organic.
Exactly, yeah, and like I said, they just don't want it to be legal here because they can't. Bath salts. There you go, John. That's the one. But
oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Can't
right.
control the growth and sales of marijuana, so they're going to fight it tooth and nail, you know, because and like I said, Chris and Telly work there. I'm telling you, man, the best company to work for in the state of Indiana. Everyone has good paying jobs. I don't know what Chris and Telly do, but
good insurance is important as well.
Yeah, they have good benefits and stuff.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I would work there given the opportunity, no doubt in my mind. But we have actually my representative from my district watched her dad die of cancer, and she's brought the bill to the state house every year since for like 15 years to legalize at least medical marijuana, and it never gets past the committee. It's never been brought to the floor yet. And she does it every year because she knows it would have saved her dad, probably, or not saved him, but would have made it
made it manageable.
Better.
They call it manageable.
I've told him when my pop gets to that point, and if it'll help him, he's going to do it. And if they take his medicine, I know plenty of people that I can get the same medicine from. It'll just cost me a lot more. Yeah, 922. You're right. Ohio just passed it this last election. Kratom or whatever. Yeah, I've heard of that stuff too. It's crap. But no, I was talking about you nailed it, John, the bath salts. That's what that stuff was. And they would take whatever it was, the plant.
Yeah, I remember hearing that buzzword, but I don't know what it was. I never saw it.
This chemical that was the same chemical makeup as THC, but it was off one molecule. That's all it has to be different is by one molecule. And when they make that, the state has to catch up and pass another law that includes that molecule. I've seen the breakdown of it in the Indianapolis Star done like a big expose on it.
In the mid 70s, I remember when PCP came out, angel dust.
Yeah. Hog tranquilizers. John, you mean recreational? I thought it was legal in Florida already. I didn't know that.
I thought Florida was illegal.
It is. He just said they're about to pass recreational use. Medical is legal down there.
Yeah, Texas too.
I thought Florida, of all the states in the country that pot ain't legal, Florida, you kidding me? They grow good pot down there. And I mean, I've heard that. I don't know anything about that stuff.
Speaking of that, I used to do work on an Indian reservation in San Diego, and now where they had a casino, they took the casino out, and it's a big weed growing area.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. The originally in Ohio, Nick Lachey or whatever, I don't know, he was a member of a boy band or something or whatever. Him and another company were trying to get it legalized, but they were going to have the exclusive rights to the grow in Ohio, and that's why it got shot down.
Well, no, that's monopolizing. You can't do that in free enterprise.
Yeah, the law was so bad that Normal lobbied against it. The national organization.
Yeah, well, Normal's been around since like maybe late '60s or real early '70s.
Yeah, they're still around, and they actually lobbied against that law getting passed because Nick Lachey and his business partners would have had Ohio locked up on all the grow license. Have to buy the real stuff.
There's a nice little couple-minute documentary on the grow facility that I was loosely affiliated with in San Diego on the reservation.
What's a trailer, Uncle Lou? A bunch of trailers.
Let me see if I can type this in here. Somebody might want to take a gander at it.
It was good stuff. What did it do, Lou? Was it like for pain or for depression? Fishing Fever, how are you, buddy? One of my favorite people. Coach, my goodness. Look at you. You got to come up and tell us some stories, Coach. You kidding me? Where you at, Coach? You come up here. I want to talk to you. You're the best. Cat piss. That was a South Park episode, wasn't it, Gig? The cat piss one? I think it was cat piss. It was either that or their farts or something. I love South Park myself, but I'm extremely immature. Oh, heck, Coach was all I missed you up here. It's called skunkweed, Coach. That's exactly what it is. It's called skunkweed. And the first time I smelled it, I'm like, you mean you're smoking that stuff? Yep, skunkweed. It smells like a skunk. And I don't care what kind of container you put that stuff in, and you put it in the trunk in a cooler under ice, you're still going to smell it. I didn't boot him that time, John. I promise you I didn't. But we're going to establish a precedence now in my show that if I don't want you there no more, I'll kick you out. I don't care. What are you going to do? Hate me? I don't care. You don't feed me. Good morning, Coach.
How are you? Hey, bud. Yeah, y'all.
I'm just glad that the semi-driving Colt let you out, man. I was thinking I was going to have to come in and get you out of there, buddy.
The what now?
The semi-driving Colt. I was afraid I was going to have to come in and rescue from that.
Yeah.
I didn't see you start driving that game, and I didn't see you anywhere for 2 months.
Well,
you went from fishing in the gravel road that was flooded to never seeing you.
Oh, yeah, well.
Where did Coach go?
If it floods back up, I'm going to get back over there, but that's a place I can fish with no trouble.
Yeah, that was good lives.
Don't have to do any walking or anything. I can walk 30 feet.
Good morning, Daniels. Well, that's how all my bank spots are right now. If I can't back up to it, I'm not interested. If I can't just pull my chair out of the back, set it down, and drive my rod holders in, I ain't fishing.
Yeah, that's where that's my situation. Yeah, look, they talking about raising marijuana. They've been raising marijuana at Ole Miss for, golly, I don't know how many years. I might be close to 40, maybe more.
For the government?
No, they've been they experiment with it. They've been doing the medical risk. Man, you ought to see that facility. I believe you could break out of Alcatraz easier than you could break in this place.
I think they do that at Michigan State too, from back in the 70s on.
But see, Ole Miss is not a land grant university. I don't know how they managed to get the license to do that back in the day, but yeah, they've been researching that stuff for And Ole Miss graduates most of the lawyers in in Mississippi.
There you go. That's how.
And most of the doctors in Mississippi, and they we got it legalized here. What 2 or 3 years ago? Legalized medical, use.
Yep.
But yeah, man, that stuff is that
How did I
place.
do that? That's cool. I made you bigger somehow. I don't know how I done
Oh, you
that.
get a different layout.
I don't know how to change it back to what it was. Wait, let's see.
It's one of them little black dots down
There we go. Ain't nobody wants to see me and you up that close.
Not me. Who is Terry?
He's a guy from Texas. He's good people. He's
Yeah, I mean, I know, but is his handle Terry on the
Terry B. With a
first
capital
time I
T.
believe I've seen him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's an old dirt bike racer. That's how I got to talking to him.
Well, look at here. They talking about growing it. Most people don't know too much about the Mississippi Delta, but this is the most fertile land in the United States, and I don't know if they do it in other parts of the country, but here, before they legalized it, I had noticed them since they did the medical stuff here a year or so ago, voted it in. But every spring, well, every summer, I guess it'd be in the summertime, the helicopters with the infrared, boy, they were flying the Delta. They gridded it off, and the helicopters constantly flying.
For grow operations?
Yeah, well, folks, these farmers around here raise their own, and they don't, they plant it in amongst the corn or whatever.
Yeah, they do that here.
They raise it all up and down the Mississippi River. You see people out there that in the summertime you don't never see them out there fishing.
Yeah.
And whether they baiting their hooks, I don't know. But they raise it all up and down the Mississippi River down here. Now I don't know if they do it everywhere because it's so secluded and you can see for so many miles away.
I know here when the corn starts to turn from green to brown, you start seeing the little Cessnas flying around in the grids like you're talking about.
Okay.
In
Well,
case
they do helicopters.
in case they don't get in and get their weed out before it starts turning, then the weed stands out like you said. It stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Well, see, I grew up in the 60s, and all my buddies that are farmers, not all of them, but a lot of them, they use it regularly still. They're my age, and they still use it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people
younger, and they farm. They got their own little crop here. They plant a stalk here and a stalk there and a stalk over there. They got several thousand acres of land. What the heck? They don't plant it in the grove, and they plant it, just.
It was after tobacco got, so I don't know, bad reputation or whatever in America. A lot of the people in Kentucky that grew tobacco started growing pot.
Yeah,
I said tobacco before,
especially up in Appalachia.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Up where Grandma and them lived, I've actually, set tobacco plants when I was little down in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and the thing you're seeing a loss of in America that's kind of sad is the old barns. You would drive through, the back roads in Kentucky and you'd see them tobacco barns like every other slat missing in the siding for the air to run back and forth through there. And they'd hang the tobacco up to dry. Well, now they hang something else up there to dry.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, a lot of them, when tobacco went away, that they had to do something to make a living.
Mm-hmm. Talking about, I got a little short story for you. Talking about this planting marijuana here and there on the plantation, on the farm.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I spent my whole first 7 or 8 years with my granddaddy. He was a farm manager. And I never saw him take a drink in my life. But I seen him drunk a bunch. And when we started out riding the horse, he did his farm managing on a horse back in the mule days. And I got pictures of me sitting up on the back of that horse. Well, I didn't never know, I didn't. And then he got a pickup, and we'd ride the farm all day long, checking on the tractors, and when they got tractors, giving them water. Used to, they didn't bring water to the field. The rider, they called him, the agent, the manager, brought water around to all the drivers once an hour. And of course, that was the days of putting 100 people out there chopping the weeds out of the cotton and everything. Wasn't no chemicals, just fertilizer, the only thing they put in the field. Well, I didn't know until we had two families of farm workers that stayed with our family from the time 10 years before I was born, and they started working for them in 1937. And they, all four of them, the man, the woman, the two men, and the two women, they never had any children, but they stayed with my family until they died, and the last one died in the 90s. Okay, so they watched me grow up. They were just like my second mom and daddy, or grandmom and granddaddy. These four black men, men and women, these four black people. And so I spent years with them. When I grew up and got on a tractor, that's who I drove a tractor with, was them. They taught me, and that's who. So I learned a lot about my growing up days that I didn't know about. And we were sitting around under the tractor shed one day, and it come to rain, and we were all up at the shop under the tractor shed, and they were talking. James and Snooks were talking. And they were talking about my granddaddy. Of course, they worked for him for 30 or 40 years. And he kept moonshine. And I don't know if all of y'all know what Johnson grass is or not, but it's an old weed that grows here. It looks like a jungle weed. And there'll be a patch of Johnson grass here and there at the end of the field, all over the farm. Well, he kept pints of moonshine in that Johnson grass. And they all knew not to chop it. They all knew not to stop on the tractor and pull it up. They all knew to leave that Johnson grass there. But they said he had 7, 8, or 10 spots all over the farm. Wherever he was on that farm, he wasn't over 200 or 300 yards from a pint of moonshine. And when we go home in the evenings from at dinner time, he'd be wobbling. And when we come home at night, he had to sit in the truck a little while before he could walk to the back door. I started laughing. And once they started talking about that and telling me about it, I remembered how he would be acting,
Yeah.
I didn't know what, at the time, it was just the way he acted. He was tired. He said, "I'm tired, bud. I'm going to rest a minute before I come in the house." Oh, man. I used to, that's something.
Here, hold on a minute. I can't walk real well. Come over and help me get in the house.
Yeah, I'm tired, bud.
I'm stiff.
I'm getting old.
Tractor all day. I can't walk.
But he was drinking moonshine all day long.
I remember the first time I ever had a taste of it. I was a kid, and there's a cup sitting on the counter there at Grandpa's down in Kentucky, and I thought it was water, and I grabbed it and took a big chug real quick. Yeah, it came right back up. I mean, Grandpa smacked me back the head, or my great grandpa smacks me back the head. Boy, don't you just grab stuff and start drinking things around this house? I'm, puking. I'm like, you ain't got to worry about this ever happening again. I promise you. But yeah, there's people that never even believe moonshine exists. You talk to somebody, you mean that really? They really do. Dude, I'm telling you, come over here in the Midwest and the South, you'll see there's moonshine. Every house has some. There's some in my freezer right now. It ain't mine. My buddy left it here. He brought it home from Tennessee when he was down at his mom's. And it's good when you got a cold or a stuffy nose in the wintertime. But And
You know,
especially if it's good, that they sell that cracks me up. You see this stuff they got in the liquor stores and
oh
places
no,
now
that
for
ain't that,
moonshine. I'm like,
all that is bonded whiskey without dye in it, without the color in it. It's not. It ain't real moonshine. It don't none of it even taste like moonshine.
oh no. And then and I like the one guy that is a YouTube video on here. Most people's probably seen it, The Last Run or whatever. And that old boy,
Popcorn Sutton.
yeah, that one, yeah. I was like, huh. So that's what that stuff was in the barn that was put up in the wintertime. I
That's right.
understand now. They had an old used to be it served all purposes throughout the years. Chicken house one time, and I guess Grandpa was telling me when he was a kid that it was the ice house, and there's no electricity back there and nothing. But he said when he was a kid that there was a creek, small river that run in front of the house. In the wintertime, it'd freeze. They'd go in and cut big chunks of ice out, like
And
5
burying and
foot by 8 or 10 foot long.
put it
And
there.
they'd take them up there and lay like a foot of sawdust down, put a chunk of ice down there, covered in sawdust. And he said they'd have ice in August in the middle of that.
There you go.
And that was one of the uses it had. But I think at one time they may have made a little moonshine in it because it set way back in the back of the property there behind the graveyard.
Yeah,
Most families down in Kentucky in the mountain stuff, they got their own little graveyards on their property.
right. The same way it was here. It was the same way here back in the early days.
Yeah. Because my family has one down there, and Grandma and Grandpa's there, and Mom wants to be there when she passes.
They got all scattered all over the Delta. You look out across these fields in the spring before the crops are growing, you'll see little wrought iron.
Yep.
What do you call it? Fences, I guess.
Yep.
That's what
Wrought
they
iron
around.
fences.
Sometimes it might be 5 graves in it, sometimes 2 graves, and sometimes it's 20 graves. It'd be a big one. That's from the old days, and when they first settled this country, and before the Civil War, and when they were raising these crops out here, and you didn't go anywhere. You had to go everywhere on a boat, and the roads were impassable. The Yankees found that out when they came down here to fight. In the spring, down here in the Delta, you didn't go nowhere in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
Too muddy. If you didn't have a boat, you just didn't go.
I went dirt bike riding down this place a couple of years ago. Actually, last time I rode is down in eastern Kentucky, the camp place you join. And I was back there in the woods by myself and come up over here on an old graveyard back there. I got pictures of it. Some of the gravestones were just about, I don't know, maybe 2 foot tall and a foot wide, and they just got 2 initials on them, nothing else, no dates or anything. I don't know if they were, from the Civil War or if maybe there was a prison or a jail or something around there at one time. I ain't got no idea. But I got pictures of them.
Yeah.
And I think the oldest tombstone I seen, there was only about 40 of them, if that. And the oldest one I seen was like early 1800s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just buried folks right there on the plantation.
Oh crap! What did I do? I hit something again. You can't hit no buttons when this thing's on. I'm telling you.
Where's what are you and John Parker swapping out weekends, or what are y'all? What's the story?
I hadn't heard from him. I was supposed to help him co-host because Dana didn't want to get up that early, and he would send me an email the day before. And I don't know if he's sick or what, because I hadn't heard from him, and about doing it. Someone said something about he was going to do it later, so Dana could do it with him. And he usually would send me an email the night before.
I got you.
And so I didn't hear from him, and I thought, well, somebody ought to get up, in the morning and at least start something. And then if he comes up and starts something, then we'll just switch over there. And I didn't. So I hadn't heard from him. I don't know if I know he had, he was going to the doctor the week of Thanksgiving for something. and I can't remember what it was he said it was, so I don't know. I see him an email, and maybe I'll hear back from him. You know, he might be sick or something. I don't know. Nobody seems to have heard from him.
But it's always good to hear the professional catfish angler.
Yep.
Hey, Terry B. Nice to meet you, sir.
But that's what I was worried about. You know, I don't want to step on nobody's toes or nothing, because it's not that important to me. I'd rather somebody else be doing it, and I can watch and cut up.
Well, it seems that people like to have a place to listen while they're going to work and this and that and other in the morning. Because Hog Leg, you know, if you're on Hog Leg show in the morning, his attendance gradually increases as it gets closer to the time to work around the country. You know, the time zone.
Yep, exactly. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
See the numbers go up. Now, that Friday morning, you know, he's asleep. So
yeah, and how many of you? I don't know about you guys, but the reason I done it originally a month or so ago is because it's like, you know, the sun come up early, so you'd be up anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, Fridays, you know, it ain't the same in the morning time. And if he hadn't done it, I was planning on doing it anyway. I had talked to J-Dog and him about doing it. And I know one thing, I have a whole new admiration for Hog and them, because it ain't easy to do every day. I couldn't imagine.
Hog been laying with it, man. He's been doing it, what, 2-3 years now?
At least, because I found this community, 2.5 years ago, and he was doing it then.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you got to admire it, because I've tried it, and it ain't easy. Oh, shoot, I got my thing off, don't I? And he's got it down, you know, to where he's done it long enough. It's smooth. You know what I mean? It's borderline of professional production. You know, he does the ads and crap like that.
He spends a lot of time on it.
Yeah. and it's done well. Unlike mine, where you get what you get. I don't know how to do nothing on here. And I got lucky. I thought I'd put a thing in that would show up, you know, like a Bible quote thing for the whatever you click on and see someone's library, but evidently it didn't go in there.
Yeah, Hog used to come on at 1 o'clock my time.
Yeah, it was 2 a.m. I remember.
And it fit that seemed like that fit my schedule a little better than what it is now, because I have trouble unless I'm not sleeping, and that's what happened this morning. My back was hurting, and so I got up and I said, "Well, I say something to go in John Parker and see what the professional angler's done." And I saw you.
Hey, Mike, according to Chad, he's the man. You want to see the pros, he's the one. That's what he said, anyhow. That's what he said. That's my favorite one yet, that picture in the robe with the castle. I like that one.
Yeah, that John Parker's a handful, boy.
Hey, a couple years ago, you told me about that 3-book series on the Civil War.
Right.
Yep, I got 2 of them in actual books, and I got the 3rd one on my Kindle because I'd run out of money.
Really?
I only read about half of the first one.
The OR, the official records.
Yeah, it's a big, thick book.
I guarantee it is.
Yeah, like this thick. There's 3 of them. Got kind of a tan colored cover.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're interesting, aren't they?
Yep. You told me about that, and I looked it up and found it. And, you know, it's good to find accounts of history that aren't what the government approved to be, you know.
That's exactly right. That's, you know, and that's what I taught out of was the information I gathered out of the official records.
Yeah.
Come on there, John. Don't start that mess. I ain't that old.
He was around when they invented publishing.
Drummer boy in the Civil War. Lord.
There's one book, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a good history book for if you want to learn real American history. See if I can find it real quick. Remember, I don't want to quote the wrong name, and it's probably, in my opinion, one of the best history books out there.
Look this one up and get it, Bud.
Yeah.
You like to read that kind of stuff.
This is the one, Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States. It's the history of the United States as recorded by the people who were here before we got here.
Wow.
And if you want to learn the real story about Columbus and them coming in, started out in the Bahamas and what they done, they were some bad, evil people, man. Genocide.
Yeah, hold up. Put me up here. Let me where you can see these. I'm gonna give you 2 books.
Okay, hold on. I got to figure out how to do it.
I'm gonna give you 2 more books to look up.
All right, hold on. I don't know how to do this yet. Give me a second. I don't know how to do that. I'll do it like I did this way.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it any other way. Hold on.
Now this old boy here.
Hold on. I got to put it in my Kindle thing so I can look for it. Robert E. Lee Orderly.
And his name is Al Arnold. Let's see if I can get it in there. There's the bottom of it right there.
There it is. Yep, I found it.
You see it?
Yep, I'm adding it to my list in my Kindle. Well, I usually order the regular book because I like to have books better.
Yeah, that was not expensive.
Yeah, I can't do
he's a Mississippi boy.
I can't do the Kindle reading. I've tried. I can't do it.
And here's another one. This now, if you like numbers,
Yeah, that's what I do.
Statistics.
Here, I'm gonna have to search that one by the author because it didn't come up under that title as a million. Francis W. Springer.
Got it?
Yeah, hold on. What was it?
What you want?
Yeah, I just need the last name real quick of the author.
Springer.
Springer, okay, like Jerry's brother.
Yeah. Come on, John. Give me a break.
Yeah.
I talked to this Al Arnold, this one here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, there's several metal detecting podcasts on the internet that I've been a part of for 15 years, 20 years. I listen to them, go up there and talk sometime. And they had Al Arnold as a guest on one night. And he is a physical therapist down in Jackson, Mississippi. And I was listening to him, and he showed the book, and it said Nathan Bedford Forrest happened to be one of my close studies on the Civil War. I read everything I could about his actions in the Civil War. And I know it, John. I'm just kidding with you. Anyway, I called in on the show and talked to him. Yeah, do you know when they organized the NAACP? It was organized, the forerunner to the NAACP was organized in Memphis in the late 1800s, after the Civil War. And it's kind of ironic that that's where they killed Dr. King, but that's where the NAACP was organized. And they had their first big meeting there in Memphis. I don't remember the address, but anyway, you know who the guest speaker? The first guest speaker at the first meeting of the NAACP was?
Huh.
Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Huh.
Yeah. Huh.
That's that one I'm talking about, Coach, that you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelby Footnow, I read that
book 3 right there.
The 3 volumes.
Yeah, that's
I
book
read.
3.
I got all 3 of them in the closet right here. I read.
Yeah,
them.
I asked you about it, and that's the one you said that was the best one.
Yeah, he's from right here in Greenville. He's from right here where I live. But in fact, I've seen him in town before he died.
I like the way it's written.
Yeah, he's a
Y'all
good
get
writer.
some literature education today, just in case you know it's a fishing show, but we want to give you a little bit more than that. All right, Coach is a history teacher. I like to listen to him teach history.
But Nathan Bedford Forrest in the history books is the biggest racist and all that it ever was. But the history that happened and the history that's written is 2 different histories, 2 entirely different histories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I happen to enjoy reading and studying. If you read this part of history that I have read about the pre-Civil War, Civil War, and post-Civil War, you will find out you can't help but form an opinion that the U.S. government is a dog, man.
Yeah, horrible.
And they always have been.
Yep. From the get-go.
From the get-go. I've never studied the Revolution and all of that but I know that those guys, but they wasn't no different. They still had their credit. Like Alexander Hamilton. Hell, he was a crook, man.
Yeah.
they put
womanizers.
They put him in charge of the money in the early days because he knew how to stave it. He was a what do you call it? Just a souped up pirate.
Yeah. Souped up pirate. I like that. Souped up. He's a souped
bootlegger,
up.
Not a bootlegger. What was the name? Some of these people. What do you call it when you bring stuff into the country illegal?
Smuggler.
Smuggler. He was a smuggler. He was the biggest smuggler in the Northeast, man.
And then he become a politician because that was the easiest way to do it and not get arrested.
There you go.
Because you share the money with all the other crooked politicians.
What was that old boy? This is even in more modern times. That became vice president, and then he became president when who was it that was killed? I think he was the first one after Lincoln. What president? Some field. What was the president that died? Was killed right after? Oh gosh, not Warfield. Who was it? Well,
You got me when it comes to that.
Come on, somebody knows. My mind, I got an old brain. But anyway, he was the vice president under this at this time, and he became president. Well, before that, he was the customs guy in New York City. He was no, I don't. But no, it doesn't. But he brought in. He was the head of customs, and he was getting filthy rich, and I can't remember his name either.
Well, I guess
the president at that time, the president of the United States at that time, and I think it was Grover Cleveland, was the president. And he just barred this guy. He kicked him out of office and tried to lock him up because he was such a rogue and was so crooked. He was worse than Boss Tweed. And he throwed him out. He went to New York and told him, you got to get rid of this guy. And they did. Well, 4 years later, he's on the ticket as a Democratic
VP.
And the president gets killed, and now he's the president of the United States. And 2 or 3 years before that, he got kicked out for being so crooked.
The president got killed. Wonder how that one happened.
Yeah.
They seem to be able to do that, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, you want to make sure your VP is someone you can trust. I would think.
Garfield was the president's name.
Yeah, you want to make sure that VP you choose is someone you can trust because they got a lot of stake if not. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I tell you what.
I'm the man. I got another one. I don't know if you ever heard it. It's a True History of the United States by Daniel L. Surgeons. it's indigenous genocide, radicalized slavery, hypercapitalism, military imperialism, and other overlooked aspects of the American exceptionalism.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah. See, I'm not smart enough to have a broad range of information.
Right.
So what I did with my history was because it happened right here around me,
Yeah.
and there's so much of it out here in these fields still.
Yeah.
Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. I'm 60 miles above Vicksburg. You know about Vicksburg.
You know,
and so that's the reason I studied this so close. This area, this, and not even the entire Civil War, just the
regionals. Yeah.
That part, and I've never.
It's amazing. You realize when you get older and you start doing and researching and stuff on your own, you realize how skewed the school systems teach American history.
Oh,
it's unbelievable.
If somebody was dropped in here from outer space that had never been in the United States and went to school, they wouldn't have. I mean, they wouldn't know nothing.
No.
Because you wouldn't even think they were in the same country that the history books are written about.
Exactly. Well, who ever heard of Columbus and them committing genocide? I didn't until that book, the History of America, the American History book, whatever it is. I forget the name of it. I show everybody and say, if you want to know what this place is really about, read this.
There you go.
Because it's amazing. They didn't all get together and join forces together and say, hey, we got to get these evil people out of here. They're killing everybody.
Yep.
It's amazing.
But they didn't say too much in the books, in the history books, about Columbus doing any of that. They did give some of his counterparts credit for it.
Yep.
But they always kept Columbus real clean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. He discovered America. You don't discover a land that people already live in. You invade a land that people already live in. Come on.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, the people that were already here, the indigenous tribes and all, they was warring with each other.
Yeah.
Each other and making slaves out of each other. And also, war is a part of humanity.
Yep. And taking each other's territory. Back then, it would be over, for instance, a fertile hunting ground or whatever.
That's right.
Look, this Indian tribe's got 200 deer per acre, and we got 40. Let's go over and take that. They ain't gonna ask them. We're just gonna come over and take it. And people don't understand. Everyone's, well, you come in and but they do it. They've been doing it since the history of mankind.
Do you know what caused the indigenous people in my part of the world, where I live, not out west or up north? Well, up north too. Where you live, Indiana. Do you know what started calming all that down? One that they discovered. There's one thing that they discovered that started the civilized tribes, and that's what area we are dealing with, not the Apaches and the Comanches and the Arapaho and all those. Farming. When they learned to farm, and they learned quick. When they learned to farm, they didn't have to war for food.
Yeah. They
had time to travel because the crop was growing. They didn't have to hunt every day. They were raising wild pigs from the Spanish.
Yeah.
But they learned to grow corn. They learned to grow beans and different things, and they had a food supply, and they could travel and trade with each other, and they made trade partners. The Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Choctaws, all of them. They learned to grow their own groceries, and then they started trading with one another, and that made them. And then they started intermarrying.
Yeah.
And that slowed all of that kind of stuff down in my part of the world.
Yeah.
part of the country. All of the, because the Chickasaws and the Choctaws, they were fought like cats and dogs all the time. But they sent all 5 of them. The government sent all 5 of them to the same spot in Oklahoma, and they with the slaves. The Indians carried their black slaves with them.
Yep. And they made slaves of other Indians before that.
Okay, baby. Bye bye. Hold on.
We need to
Yeah.
clean up the refrigerator and get some of those. It's time to throw some of that stuff away. My stomach is churning.
Y'all didn't know it was history class today, did you? We'll go back to fishing here in a little bit. We're doing
Yep.
history class now.
All right, be careful. All right, well, I'm on.
But it's interesting to hear the stories from other people in other places that you would never know the history of those things, you know. Like
Yeah.
my great grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee. My grandmother was a twin, and there's a book about her and her sister that somebody wrote, My Little Cherokee Darling or something. I got a bunch of copies of them somewhere. And you know, you think about race relations and things today. Well, imagine being a guy in the foothills of Kentucky, a hillbilly that marries an Indian woman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you think he wasn't an outcast, probably. I don't know. I never heard the history because they didn't talk much about stuff like that back then. But I was thinking about that a while back, that, you know, it just wasn't something you really done very often back then, I don't think. And you'd marry
Well,
before you would an
it
Indian.
depends on the time period,
Yeah, that's true.
because you know, Wyoming and Montana out there was the first place to give women the right to vote, and that wasn't but for one reason. That's to get women out there. So, you know, men gonna always. You can look at my handle there on the screen. And men always been interested in the opposite sex.
Well, yeah. The more the merrier. Hey, I need the name of that channel you watch down in Key West. I can't remember what it is.
Which one?
Oh, the bar. There's some bars or something. Hold on, I got to write it.
You want to write them down?
Yep.
All right. Hog's Breath Saloon.
Yep.
Sloppy Joe's.
Yep.
Willie T's.
That might be the one I was thinking of. Yep.
And the Schooner Wharf. SCHOONER. Schooner Wharf.
I know that.
Oh, well, I didn't know if you could understand the way I was pronouncing it.
Yeah, I got it. Yep. Well, I was looking for them, and there's some out there, and it seems like there's some of them that anytime you do a search, they just dominate the search, and it wasn't none, and that wasn't none of them. I was like, man, I know Coach is in some of these, because when the semi people kidnapped you, I knew I could still find you there, and I was going to try and bring you back to reality.
There's I was telling the other day on the Hog Leg show, we were talking about those fishing women, the bikini fishing women. And there was one down there, probably the prettiest woman I ever saw. And I couldn't remember the name of her channel.
Yep.
And so I went and looked it up. It's the Fish Huntress.
Well, I write that down. That ain't the one I looked in the other day, because you said something the other day, and I was going.
You were in there when you heard me talking about it.
Yep.
Fish Huntress Club. And now, if you want to look at one,
you know, I got to be honest with you. If I was a woman and I had it, I would use it to make myself famous. I'm sorry. Why not? God gave you that. Why not use it to your advantage?
she does.
It beats being a whore. You know what I mean? That's the other way you can make money.
Well, look,
to your advantage, so to speak.
Little Red Riding Hood or whatever her name is. This gal here makes, to me, it makes Little Red Riding Hood look like a dog on the side of the road. Man, this woman is something.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the movie Little Red Riding Hood.
No, the fishing girl. Hello, Double Hook.
I'm kidding.
Whoever we were talking about, everybody knew who Little Red Riding Hood was, Hood, Ho, whatever her name is.
You know, Grandpa used to say, doesn't matter where you get your appetite as long as you're eating at home.
Well, I've always liked to look at pretty women now.
Women, yeah. And they know you do, and they use it to their advantage. And I don't blame them. I would. I'm fat, old, short, and ugly, man. I ain't got a chance to market anything like that.
Me too.
Yeah. I had to depend on wit to get me by in life because I was always the shortest guy in every group. But that was all right. The only thing I could ever compete with people, I couldn't compete with them in basketball. I played, but you know, if you're tall, you had me. Football, any of that. But dirt bike racing, I had the advantage because it's the one sport that the smaller guy you are, the better you can be because you're lighter on the bike.
There you go.
And that's the only reason I got good at it because it was one I could beat my buddies in and not have to hear about it all week.
You know, I had a buddy that
I never got to play baseball, and I look back and think I'd have really wished I'd have done that. I think I'd like to have been a catcher.
there you go.
Hey, DHA, how are you, buddy? I'll be checking you out this morning.
Bug, how old are you?
I'll be 60, February 8th.
60. That's each 16. I had a buddy up there from St. Louis. I was in the hospital with him in 68. And he was a dirt bike racer. And being from St. Louis, and he traveled all over. He had a bad wreck, and they were rebuilding him down there in Memphis.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. I used to send him a Christmas card every year. His last name was Knudson, Knudson. Knudson.
Wonder what years it was.
This would have been in the 60s, early 60s.
Yeah, I was going to say, because most people don't realize, even though California was the epicenter of motocross racing, but the true dirt bike racing was before motocross, and it was a cross-country form of racing called a scrambles. And the importation of the Husqvarna motorcycle and stuff from Europe all happened in Ohio. And that's why the AMA is headquartered in Ohio. That's where it all started at originally. And then Bruce Brown's On Any Sunday just totally changed the course of history as far as that sport goes.
Yeah.
And there's someone earlier mentioned On Any Sunday, and anyone most people who know about dirt bike racing, that's where they learned it from.
Okay. I doggone, can't remember his first name, but I'm getting bad. But anyway,
it's a small community, especially back then.
But he raced all over that country. He had a wreck. He met a truck head on. The truck come over in front of him going home. They'd been out riding, and he rode his bike home.
Yep, they did back then. Yep, my dad done that.
And a pickup truck came over and hit him head on. He lived through it, but he broke all the pieces.
Yep. Come think of it, I got a trophy that was my dad's state championship trophy from 1961.
Okay, I bet you he knew this guy.
Yep.
So Knudson,
that one there was a road racing championship, and he was an amateur and went to the state championships, and beat all the factory riders.
Oh heck.
The Harley and Indian guys, because there was a guy named Les Smith here that was probably the best motor tuner cheater that you'd ever meet, as far as because if you say I come and beat you real bad, and we had the same size bike, and I was pulling you on the straightaways and stuff, well, at the end of the race they had a claim rule, and if I beat you, you could put money down, and the AMA would tear my motor down, and if they found it illegal, you got to keep my motorcycle.
Oh
yeah. So if you were going to build a cheater motor, you better be good at it to where they can't tell what you was doing. And he was. And that's how he beat them guys. He was pulling them on the straightaways.
Tom. His first name was Tom.
What was it?
Tom
Knudson. Canute. I've heard that name. I think, come think of it, I'll look that one up. But yeah, it's one of the few sports in the world, motorsports, that if I beat you, you can claim my bike, and if they can prove I was cheating, you get to keep it.
Okay.
And it was the whole idea behind that rule was to keep it fair, because if
Gotta keep it fair.
you spend it back then and say that's a lot of money, you spend $1,000 building a motor, the last thing you wanted was someone to claim that motor.
Right.
So when you made them fast, you done it in ways that's, it had all the auto factories up here, so you had a lot of machinists and a lot of them for hobbies. That's what they built, race car motors and stuff like that. Like just like NASCAR, he who cheats best finishes first on Sunday.
Hey, Cindy.
Cindy, yeah, she's awesome, man. She fishes a lot.
Yeah, she catching fish too.
Yeah, she does. Everybody catching more fish than me right now. It's raining today. That's gonna suck day.
Boy, we got rain all night. We need it. Golly. I got my gauge turned upside down because cold weather. I don't want to freeze and bust. I don't know how much we got.
It was cold down there. What the other day, Hog Leg said it was like in the 30s down that way.
Oh yeah, we had 2 nights this week below 32.
Oh, heck, it was cold as well. No, I take it back. I went to the Tuesday night. I think I worked real late on an appraisal and forgot to get Red Bull like 1:30 in the morning. So I went down to the station to get some, and it was 18 degrees. What my truck said.
No, we ain't had that yet.
Of it.
We don't get that. Maybe we might get 1 or 2 days where it'll get down in the 20s, but we generally don't get that cold. Now we have had spells, but what tickles me, they always say, the old heads always said, man, it's bad winter. That's good, man. We won't have very many bugs in the cotton.
Yep. Well, that's what we count on as if you have a good cold winter, you have less mosquitoes the next year.
Well, look at here, man. We've been camping on that bit. I heard that ever since I was a little boy, growing up. And you can have 2 or 3 days of 20-degree weather all day long and all night and sleeting and snowing and everything. And 3 or 4 days later, when it gets up in the 60s and the sun comes out, and you go out and walk in your yard, damn mosquitoes eat you up.
Oh, yeah. Well, it has to freeze. Yeah, that cold weather, you've got to get solid cold weather for a couple weeks to kill anything off. Overnight cold ain't going to do it.
I don't put much stock in that. Look, we used to stay at that old fishing group I was with, where we'd meet up once every couple of months. It'd be 20, sometime 30 of us. And we stay on the riverbank up at Tunica. That's between here and Memphis, south of Memphis, about 30 miles. Campground right on the riverbank. There's a park, really a picnic park, but they let us camp there. Well, there was a hollow tree, a big old cottonwood. I don't know, that thing must have been 100 feet tall, and it was hollow in the bottom. And it was right there by one of the campsites, and we'd always check it when we get there because we worried about it falling, the thing falling. Well, one winter we were up there, it was in January, and it was cold. Boy, that wind was coming down that river, and we were fishing, going out there in the daytime and fishing. We didn't fish at night. And we were sitting around, had a tarp around the canopy to keep the wind, and had gas heat in there and all, and where we could sit around the table and out of the wind. And somebody said, when I was a kid, we used to build a fire in those old trunks of them old trees like that, and on cold days, and get up in there and get out of the wind. And I said, well, man, don't put no fire over there in that tree. We don't want to set the. And they got up for some reason. They got up and got the flashlight and walked over there, and walked up in that hollow, that hole, and you could walk in. It was that big a tree. Walked up in that tree and shined the light up in there, and when he did, the mosquitoes come out of there. It was millions of mosquitoes up in that hollow tree. He come out of there. Of course, when they hit that cold air, they went back up in that tree. But there was millions of mosquitoes up in that tree.
Huh.
And from that day on, every time we went there, somebody would go over there and look up, shine a light, and it was millions of mosquitoes every time we ever looked up in that tree.
No kidding.
So
Yeah,
how many hollow trees?
under that and burned them all up, and you wouldn't have had none the next
Yeah,
day.
but you set that tree on fire too. But you know how many hollow trees are there in the United States?
Yeah.
And if a mosquito can live in there, everything else, the ladybugs and the grasshoppers and everything else can go in there.
Yep. And now how many houses are there in their little nooks and crannies they get in these days?
Yeah,
I'll tell you one I don't understand, and we didn't have when I was kids, these stink bugs. Man, I tell you what, I stomp on every one of them I see. I hate them. I found them in my toolbox with the drawers closed that hadn't been opened for months. How'd they get in there?
Yeah, I don't know, but we have infestations of them from time to time.
Oh, I hate them.
They weren't as bad this year as they have been. And we'll have an infestation of grasshoppers every once in a while.
Really?
In the fall, yeah.
Well, all the pesticides they put on the crops up here about killed stuff like that off from when I was a kid. We used to have tons of grasshoppers, and then milkweed would grow along all the ditch lines and stuff like that. I can't remember the last time I come across a big patch of milkweed or nothing. Which milkweed in turn hurts the monarch butterflies because that's what they would eat on.
That's true.
And they really mess stuff up here with the pesticides. Buddy, what you doing, huh? I'm not mad at you no more.
Well, farming practices have changed over the last 20 years so much that there's no-till. That's had a lot to do with the drop-off in the weed species, because the weed species, the seeds in the top 3 inches of the soil.
Yep.
Those are the ones that can germinate. Now, if you don't ever till that soil deeper than 3 inches, if you stay at that 3-inch depth with all of your equipment, even if you minimum till, you're not bringing new seeds up from 6 inches. All right, and over a period of time, you kill off all of those seeds that are in that top 3 inches.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, it's millions of seeds still out there down in the ground that are laying there dormant, waiting on their turn to get up to the 3-inch mark. And when they were deep tilling, that's 20 inches.
Yeah.
They bring up all those new seeds. Well, it was still a bunch of seeds at 6 and 10 and all the way down, and you would kill off those in the 3-inch mark. And over a period of time, theoretically, you would never get rid of the weed seeds because there's so many of them in the ground. But with minimum till, where they just don't do anything but harvest it and plant it, you're not bringing up anything. So therefore, there ain't no milkweed coming up.
Yep. Hey, Gig, you're right. Our pastures used to be full of fireflies. I mean, there'd be billions of them at night, and you're lucky to see a field halfway lit up. That's the other one the farming up here has killed off so much good stuff. Fireflies, you would look out like where I live now, that backyard in mid-June, it would have just been, you couldn't have walked through them without 10 or 20 of them landing on you. And those are gone. Fireflies, and here, the one that bothers me is the monarch butterfly.
Well,
important into the ecosystem of the world.
Well, no doubt that the minimum till has had a great effect on the insect world.
Yeah.
Because they rely on so much of the weed population.
And like you said, the weeds, the fields used to grow up by our house, and they'd have these. They would grow up. I was a kid, and they would grow up taller than I was, and we'd always play in the fields, and they'd have the big honeysuckle flowers, and you see fields grow up now, and none of that stuff's in them no more around here.
Yeah. Well, also now, the hedgerows and all that, when the mules left and the oxen left, they cleaned up all the fences, took up all the fences, and so therefore, that habitat, they lost the habitat. See, I can argue that that DDT had nothing to do with the quail population.
Is the habitat was gone?
There ain't no habitat for
Yeah.
them anymore.
Dad was telling me about that. Where the Walmart is now, they built down where my old neighborhood was. He said when he was a kid, you go down the road and there'd be flocks of quail running down the road and stuff. I've never seen a quail in my lifetime here.
Well, we used to have them all the time, and I mean, everybody had bird dogs. Everybody bird hunted.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
they
what
were.
Dad said. Even where I live, they had them, and I've never seen one here.
But listen now, Bug. You may have heard me say this before. The quail never evolved. And listen to what I'm going to tell you. The quail never evolved to get their butt up off the ground and build a nest. The doves, on the other hand, where do they nest? They nest on the ground and in trees.
Yeah.
They are evolving to a tree.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah.
Look at the nest that the dove builds. They ain't been that many hundreds of years, thousand years. They've been building that nest because they don't know how to build a bird nest. Look at the dove nest. It ain't nothing but a few sticks.
Yeah.
So they are evolving. The quail never has evolved, and they nest on the ground.
That makes sense.
They lost all the habitat. That's the first thing. When the mules left, they lost all the habitat. The second thing is the cows moved in here out of the southwest, and then here comes the fire ants. So the quail has no chance.
Yeah.
Rabbits have no chance.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's going around here. There used to be so many rabbits. You
And now
wake up
listen to
one, there'd
this.
be 8 or 10 in the yard.
Now to prove this point a little bit further, I got a buddy down here farms 7,000 acres of soybeans and corn and rice. They got 2 big combines, the biggest combines that you'll ever see. He's got a farm manager, and both of them are personal friends of mine. They got a crew of field hands, to disc and plow and plant and do all that. But those 2 men drive the combines at harvest time. They harvest 7,000 acres themselves, the boss, the owner, and the manager. I was talking to the farm manager, his name is Mark. We went and drinking coffee, and a bunch of us around, and they had just finished harvesting. This has been about 3 years ago. They got in the little town of Hollandale. It's 2,000 people down south here, a little bit, 20 miles. They got 5 acres in town that the owner of the thing inherited from his daddy that had bought way back there. Thought maybe they might want to build houses on it up there. It's in the middle of town. He said they saw, and sometimes I get this number wrong, but on 6,995 acres of ground, the 2 of them together, they saw like 5 rabbits.
No kidding.
Yeah, they kept up with it. Because they just do. There's noticeable, no rabbits.
Yeah.
There was over 20 in that 5 acres in town. Rabbits. When they come up there and cut that little 5 acre field. Now they didn't bring but 1 combine up there. But when they got to the last, they cut, and got to the edge of the field, Mark said it was at least 20 rabbits ran out across and went up in people's yards.
Huh.
Now, you know why?
No, not at all.
The cow population is very light, very small in town.
Yeah.
They're there, but they're very small, and people put out poison on the yard for the fire. So the fire population is less in that 5 acres because the surrounding houses all the way around. When it mound, you get a fire mound, you go out there and sprinkle stuff on it. It's because of reduced population of cows and fire.
Yep.
They mowed this ditch behind my house. And it's bean fields all the way across there. That man running that mower with his arm and hangs down.
I know what you're talking
It's a
about.
city ditch. It's a city ditch. Hangs out and mows. I stopped him out there and told him he was doing a great job, and I appreciate him mowing that ditch because it drains this whole neighborhood. And he says, I see you got a garden. Said all these rabbits don't eat up your. This has been 2 months ago. All these rabbits don't eat up all your plants. I said, well, it's one or two rabbits around. They get in there, but I mean, heck, if they want to eat it, I got enough for me and the rabbits. He said, one or two rabbits. He said, I ain't never seen so many rabbits in one.
Really?
Mowing this ditch back in.
Huh.
Now, I bet you I could have talked to them guys driving them combines out there in their bean field, and I bet you, how many rabbits you see out there in the field when you was mowing? You know what I bet you they tell me? Oh, I saw 2 or 3.
Huh.
Or maybe didn't see any. Who knows? They all right here on this ditch, and they ain't going in the field to eat. They coming in the yards and gardens.
And eating out of the gardens.
Well, sure.
There ain't no predators in the garden areas.
And this ditch is over half a mile long. I don't know how long this ditch is. It's long though, and it's a long, straight, flat ditch. And so when he got through mowing, I went out to the co-op, and I bought 3 pounds of mustard. Well, first I looked on the internet to see what they really like, what rabbits really like. And I bought 3 pounds of mustard. I bought 3 pounds of rape seeds, and I bought 3 pounds of red clover. And the ditch is dry. It's a flat bottom ditch.
Yeah.
And I went out there and walked up and down that ditch, my house and my neighbor's house. And I planted all of that seed with a whirlybird on that ditch bank. And it's pretty back there. It's pretty green, man. I got a good stand. Of course, you know what rolls down the hill, and when the high water comes in that ditch, it's going to kill it. But up at the top of that, it's going to be about a 3 or 4 foot band that's going to grow and be pretty.
Yeah.
And
bunny rabbits, and they won't be eating your garden no more.
I don't care if they come in.
I'm with you. I don't have none around me because the dog chased them off. When I first started to move up here, and I was coming in and I was mowing and getting things ready to move in, and there was at least 6 or 8 rabbits that lived under the deck in the front and back of the house, because when I'd come in to mow, that's where they'd run to. Ain't none of them here no more. I see them over across the way at the neighbor's house.
Dogs
after the year. But yeah, and the dogs didn't chase them, but just the fact that dogs are here, they can smell them and know they would, so they automatically left on their own.
Right.
But and I understand what you're saying now, because in my old neighborhood, we had more fields than we did anything, and nobody there ever grows a garden. Well, where I'm at now, everybody got a garden, and I see bunnies every day, 5, 10 of them every day. That makes sense now. I get why I see them here now.
Yeah. Do y'all have fire ants yet?
Had what?
Do y'all have fire ants yet?
No, not up here. It gets too cold. Thank God. I've experienced them.
Well, they gradually. What about armadillos?
No.
They don't have them yet.
Nope. I don't think we'll ever get them up here.
I got an Armadillo, Indiana story for you. They back when I was in the coon hunting society club, they had what they call the Little World Hunt, and they had it this particular year. They had it in Greenville, right here where I live. So, and this is a big hunt. They hunt 3 nights. I believe it's 3 nights, and there'd be 150 hunters each night. Different 3 hunters, different hunters. And so that's 400 or 500 folks here hunting. And I can't remember. I don't remember the name. I don't remember nothing about it except the man and the dog. And there was a big $high blue tick out of Indiana that was one of the top blue ticks in the whole country. And he had big ads for standing him at stud, and this dog was breeding all the time. And he was at the hunt. He didn't hunt. He just came to show his dog, had him stand on the bench, to get some more customers to breed to his bloodline. So I guided every night a group. I carried all 3 groups to the same place, and I guided some good dogs, man. I wasn't judging. I wasn't a judge. I had a judge. I was just a guy. And one night, I don't remember if it was the first night. It was one night there when we came in. It came in about 3 o'clock in the morning to the big convention center. And this old boy from Indiana, he was an older guy, older than me. He said, say, you a guide, aren't you? And I said, yeah. He said, you ain't got anywhere I can carry an old buck out. I just call him Buck because Buck came in where I can carry an old buck out, tree a few coons that day, and that won't interfere with the hunt next tomorrow night. And I said, oh, yeah, I know a place. I got several places I can carry you. It's close to town, too. He said, well, what about tomorrow night when you come in, we go back out? And I said, well, can we carry some folks with us? He said, well, yeah, if anybody wants to go. I said, all right, well, when I get in tomorrow morning, you be around and I'll carry you. We'll carry old Buck out and let him trip. So that next night I got it. We hunted the 5-6 hours, however long it was. And it came in, sure enough, the fellow was waiting, man. He had his coveralls, he had his light hanging over his shoulder and everything. He was ready to go. So we loaded up and we went in my truck. We put him in my truck and put him in my dog box. And it was 5 or 6 of us local boys when my friends wanted to see us, showed up, stomped down coon dog, And we went out there to this place. It was under lock. It had a gate on it. I mean, I had permission to be there. And I unlocked the gate and we went in. He said, I like this, man. Can't nobody get it. But there's plenty of coons down in here. I said, well, I don't kill them down here. I tree them and I don't kill them. There's plenty of coons. So we pulled up and there's a green patch there where the farmer raised turnip greens in the wintertime. He kept it disc up. It's about a half acre. He just kept it good and clean. So when he planted his mustard and turnips, to eat. And I said, and it's on a biobank. It runs around for miles and miles. And we turned old Buck loose and we walked through that turnip green patch. And old Buck struck. Which didn't surprise me because, well, I'll tell that's a different story. But anyway, old Buck struck and tree quick. I mean, within 10 steps, it sounded like. He wasn't 100 yards in the woods. And he was just treeing, and all of a sudden, you couldn't hardly hear him talk. Couldn't hear him bark no more. And he had a big old bellowing bark, man. You could hear him 2 miles. And he couldn't hardly hear him. And he said, that coon went in the hole. Buck's in the ground. Because being from Indiana, y'all's coons will go in the ground up there. I was always go up a tree. Now, I'd been hunting a long time. I ain't never seen one go in the ground. So we got up there and old Buck was digging a hole and he had dirt backed up out there. And I said, he said, we won't get this one. He's in the ground. I said, yeah, he's in the ground. That's what I thought. I looked around and all my other buddies, they were saying, what the hell? So we turned old Buck loose. He talked to old Buck and talked him up real good. Petted him and good job. Went on down there and we didn't go 50 yards and old Buck done opened again. I said, boy, let that dog sure sound good. And he disappeared. You couldn't hardly hear him. He said he got another. Must be a whole family of them. So we go down there and old Buck and dug him a hole up on the old log. And he's just digging. He pulled him out. He said, good job, Buck. Good job, Buck. I thought to myself again, I said, this damn dog ain't doing nothing but running armadillos. He's damn $2,000 dog and I need to let him dig my garden up for me. But anyway,
running armadillos.
finally, old Buck tree and then disappeared. And we got up there and he pulled old Buck back out of that hole. And I looked down that hole and I could see the damn armadillo's tail. And I had gloves in my pocket. I put my gloves on. I got on my knees. I should have done this. But I was sick of old Buck, I'm telling you. I was sick of it. I put my gloves on and I reached down there. And I don't know if anybody's ever tried to do it, but you got to be a pretty good man to get an armadillo out of a hole. 'Cause
Yeah, no, I couldn't
that's
say
counting and
that.
hold on, but and I jerked and I yanked and I jerked and I yanked and I finally drug that armadillo back up out of that hole. And that man said, "What the hell is that?" I said, "That's an armadillo." I said, "Old Buck loves these things, man." And that dog was he went that old dog
And
man, he was on it. And he was trying to hold the dog back. He said, "Them ain't coons." I said, "No." I said, "That dog ain't doing nothing but running armadillos." I said, he said, "Well, I ain't never even seen an armadillo." I said, "Well, that's what he's running. They Buck ain't seen one either."
Yeah, I say he ain't never seen one. He's that it's
He
shaped
said,
like
"What
a
the
coon,
hell
but
is
it
that?"
sure ain't got no fur. Morning, 217.
So we so we hold about 3 or 4 more armadillos. Buck couldn't stand them. He just old Buck just ain't never seen no armadillo.
Yeah.
He couldn't stand them. They right there on the ground and they run. They blind as a bat. And oh man, we dogged it. He took it in good stride though.
Yeah. But the fact that the dog hadn't never seen one, and you got to think, heck, they're about the size of a coon. They're shaped like one.
And he was seeing them. See, he was running up on them. He was seeing them. I mean,
Yeah.
They get around on the ground and move around. They're real slow, but now they can run they can run. They can swim. Armadillo can swim.
Huh.
I've seen them in the middle of the Mississippi River just swimming along.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody in the chat, just so you know, about 5:09 or so, I'm going to shut this down. Everybody head over and hang out at Dave's. Dave's a good guy. He does a good show. They tie up flies and stuff. And I ain't never fished with no jigs or nothing. I'm learning a lot about them. I may actually, for bluegill, we bluegill fish. We always use crickets. Oh, for my whole life, that's all we ever used. And I guess they catch bluegill on these little jigs and stuff they tie. So I want to try this spring. I've never used them before. We fish on a slide bobber, and the bluegill here, the big ones are usually 10, 12 feet deep in the spring, and in the summertime they're down 20, 25 feet deeper. So the big ones, you can always catch little bluegill up by the bank because they ain't got enough sense. They eat everything that you throw out there. But I'm going to try that, catch them, because first off, crickets are expensive, and the guy at the bait houses around here, they used to get nice big crickets about like that. And last 2 or 3 times I went fishing, these crickets about that big. And I'm like, but what's up with these crickets, man? You can't even hardly get them on the hook. Oh, yeah, but those live longer. I said, really? They live longer. So and I told him, I said, well, I won't be back buying no more crickets. I can tell you that, unless you get crickets back again. Because I forget what we paid a tube, $10, $11 for a tube of them. And they got like a test tube or whatever they scoop down and fill them up with. And 2 years in a row, he had them little bitty ass crickets. Now, so if I can get some jigs and do the same thing, then I ain't never going to have to buy crickets off this guy.
There you go.
But I understand that if they don't live as long, then don't order as many, but make a lot more orders throughout the season,
Right.
When them jigs, I can see where they use them to take them off nest, flip them up in the nest. But I've never been one to take fish off nest, because what's protecting them eggs is going to be the big fish 10 years from now or 5 years from now or whatever. My mom, she'd get so mad at them guys down there. But it used to be coal mines, strip mines down southern Indiana in the 20s and 30s. Well, the agreement with the state was when they got done stripping them, they had to reclaim that land and stock them with bass, crappie, and bluegill. And there's hundreds of these pits down there. You can't go a square mile without having 10 or 12 of them. And because there's so many, they don't all get fished, and they're full of these big slab bluegills.
Big, pretty one.
Big, oh yeah, the big. Well, we always call them, judge them by if you could get your hand around them or not to take the hook out, And if they weren't big enough that you couldn't hardly get your hand around them, then we'd throw them back. And we used to go to this state park. We've been going there for about 40 years. And when we first started going there, you could we'd go as a family and rent a cabin or camp, and we'd catch enough to fry up each night, be 20 or 30 of them. The guys come in there in the spring, taking them off nest and filling up coolers with it. And my mom would get so mad at them, and she's a little bitty old lady, and she'd go over and just go, "What are you going to do 10 years from now when all them effing fish you just stood in that cooler, ain't going to be no fish left in these lakes?" And sure enough, you got to work to catch a big bluegill there now.
Yep.
That's where we'll stay at, and then sometimes we'll drive out in the country to these other little pits that people, don't fish at. So that's my opinion. I just don't agree with taking fish off the nest because I seen it kill 2 lakes that I know of that were great bluegill lakes. Now, some people don't see anything wrong with it, and I don't got nothing against that. To each their own, but if it's a place you plan your grandkids fishing at, then you may want to think twice every time you pull a fish off a nest. What's going to happen? That fish going to come over and eat them eggs or something.
Mississippi had to change their out-of-state fishing laws here a few years ago because of the crappie.
Yep, same thing.
Missouri and Indiana, Illinois, Tennessee.
Come down there and
coming down and filling up coolers full of crappie and taking them off, hauling them out of here. And we got some of the best crappie fishing in the world in Mississippi and Louisiana.
Yep.
And Arkansas got some good lakes.
Yep.
But most everybody in the crappie world has heard of Grenada Lake. That's just 60 miles east of me.
Cody and his dad go down there somewhere crappie fishing in the spring too, don't they?
What's that?
Cody and his dad.
I don't know.
3+1. Yeah, they go down there crappie fishing every year.
Well, I would go to Grenada. It's a renowned crappie lake.
That may be where, I don't know what the name of the place is, but yeah, they go every year. Or they I don't know if they went this year or not, but typically because I remember them. Oh, we were talking about ultralight rods and real combos and stuff, and that's what they were talking about, the ones they use to catch crappie. Because when I bluegill fish, I want a small ultralight rod, so it's like it's like fighting a 50-pound channel catcher.
Yeah, fun. It's all about fun. It ain't all about eating.
Exactly, and you get one of them big, and in my opinion, pound for pound, a bluegill fights hard.
Oh, they do.
Is most fish, and they don't quit. They'll
make that line sing going through that water.
Yep. And because they're so wide, they get sideways, and you can't turn them. And if you take a big pole, well, heck, you just yank it and reel them across the top of the water. It ain't no fun. I wanted to make it think like that fish got a chance. This fish has a chance, he thinks.
Yeah. I'd like to know where they come to. Lake Washington down here about 20 miles south of me is a big crappie lake. They got cabins.
Yeah, we have a Bible study every Wednesday night that Cody's dad does, and I'll ask him Wednesday.
Ask them what lake they come to.
Yeah. I know they go somewhere down south of where they're at. And I don't know, and
Is it in Mississippi?
I don't know what state it is. That's what I was saying. I know it's south of them, and they go for a week, I think. And then
they're in Kentucky.
Yeah, they're in Kentucky, and they go down to bluegill, and then they go to the Gulf and fish.
Yeah, I've seen them on the Gulf. I've never seen them crappie fishing.
Well, I don't think they do any lives when they go crappie fishing. To be honest with you, I don't think they want nobody to know where it's at and what they're getting. Because I guess Cody, the way I understood it, Cody talked, that was what their main fishing was originally, was crappie. They real big crappie fishing. And that seems that seems to be the go-to fish. Where up here, I don't even think I may have ate one crappie my whole life, but I've ate thousands bluegill.
Well, crappie good eating now.
Well, I figured out, and someone was telling me that the only ones I ever ate would have been like in August, maybe. And I just thought the meat was mushy. And they said, no, you got to catch them in the spring.
Yeah, hot water.
Yeah, catch them in the spring when the water's still cool. And they said the meat, it gets a lot better that way.
I've been crappie fishing once. I went with a boy. I don't know, I ran into him somewhere uptown. He said he had his boat. And I said, where you headed, Jimmy? He said, I'm going to go down Lake Lee and crappie fish. You want to go? I said, man, I ain't never been crappie fishing. I don't even know. I ain't even got a crappie pole. He said, you don't need no pole. I got plenty of them. He said, we're going to troll. And I'd heard of them. I mean, I never had done it. I seen it done,
Yeah.
but I ain't never done it. So we got out there, and he had all them racks all the way around the back of his boat and down the side. And he baited them and put them. Some of them had jigs, some of them had minnows and different depths and this and that and the other. And we started eating along with the trolling motor, and we went and went and went and went and went. And I don't know, about 3 beers worth of winting.
That's how I judged it.
And he's weaving here and there and looking at his depth finder all around. This was long, several years ago, so it wasn't, it was just a regular depth finder.
Yeah.
All around, and finally caught a crappie. It's a little old crappie bob. This thing wasn't that long. And I thought to myself, damn, we out here bait fishing. Well, I didn't say anything. We got to, and he got that crappie up and put him in a bucket of water, and went in his tackle box and come out with a balloon, just a regular old, I think it was yellow, a balloon and a little old piece of fishing line, a little old, like 3-pound test monofilament, and with a little bitty hook tied to the end of it. Little bitty gold hook. I'll never forget it. He blew that balloon up, tied a knot in it, and tied that monofilament on that thing, and he had on that balloon, he had about 15 feet of monofilament on that hook. He unwrapped it and got to the length he wanted, and he hooked that fish in the top fin, and put him back in the water, and we just sat there and we watched that balloon, and it started going, and finally it settled down, and we went to that balloon. It went off over beyond about 30 yards, 40 yards. What in the hell? He got all his poles faded up and everything. We just started circling that balloon.
Yep. I was just
Real
going to say.
slow.
Yep.
Look, man, we caught so many crappie.
I was going to say he let it go over and schooled up.
I was sick of taking crappie
No
off.
kidding.
Oh,
What a cool idea. I'd have never thought of it.
but I learned
Him to where the fish were at, because they're
well, you see, he wasn't crappie fishing; he was crappie eating.
Yeah. Well,
And-
the other
and,
day, Jody threw her cast net in and come up with a whole bunch of little striped bass, about like that, wire
yeah.
striped bass. There had to be 20 of them in there. She just must have just happened to landed right on top of that school.
I've caught a bunch of them in a cast net. Now we call them wipers down here. I don't know if we got the real stripes, but some people say we do. I don't know the difference.
And they got the hybrids now. That's what they got at that lake up here that I didn't know if you could could use for bait, and they're white bass. And the guy told me I'd tell the difference, but I just know they're white bass in that lake.
Hmm.
All right, y'all.
Okay, thank you, Bud, for letting me come up
Oh
here.
no, Coach, I am honored to have you up here. I love listening to your stories. You kidding me? Anytime I'm live, you come up and I'll just shut my mic off and let us tell
Well,
stories.
I hate to hog somebody's show.
No, it ain't a
I'm
hog,
not
man. I
cool.
love it. You kidding me? That's why I said I was going to come and rescue you from the semi people. They kidnapped you, and I was getting ready to save your life.
Oh yeah. Well, I thank you for thinking about it.
Oh yeah, I was for sure. And all you guys in the chat, man, thank you guys for hanging out. It ain't the Hog Leg Show, but he's been doing this a long time, and actually, I just love to have somebody sit around, we can talk and get through Friday morning.
There you go.
And we
Thank
ain't
you,
gonna
man.
do it on no Saturdays or Sundays.
y'all
I'll see
later.
everybody.